Good afternoon, my friends. TheFreind here, and today I am joined by a very special guest. Please introduce the mighty Xelya, however you want to say it.
That's fine. I'll let you say Zelaya.
Cool, so Xelya it is. So this here is the number 1 and the number 2 Zagara. I have no knowledge in Zagara, but I figure, hey, why not? I have the best Zagara player on my party list. I might as well bring her down so that we could do something unique, because my hero pool, although it's flexible, it's limited, and my enjoyment out of my heroes are limited to very certain heroes. So if I have to do overexplain videos on every single hero, there's no way I'm going to be a master of them all. That just doesn't happen. So I'm joined by an actual expert here.
Hey guys,
Now,
it's Zelya.
yeah.
I don't know if I'm a master, but I definitely do love playing Zagara for how flexible she is for many circumstances.
Mm-hmm. How long have you been playing Zagara?
Oh geez, I think it's like years, at least maybe 5 years at
Yeah.
least. Like
5 straight
geez,
years. Oh, continue.
is there a way to like check?
If I go to your profile, let me see here. Match history, quick match. Okay, it doesn't work. So I have to go to lifetime settings here. What's that? 2019, you have presents. Oh shit, you go all the way back to 2016.
About 2016. Okay.
Yeah, and there are Zagara games, and so that's what, 10 years more or less.
Yeah.
10 years of Zagara straight, and it's funny because you have 2 accounts, so we don't even know how much is going on for the bad wife. But what is that, like 15,000 games of Zagara?
Right.
Oh my god. Yeah, this is why I called in the expert. Anyways, it is a pleasure having her on. So we're going to talk about the abilities and then into the talents without further ado. So, into her Zagara's abilities, let's talk about her trait first, because kind of like everything else is dependent on it. How it works is you got 3 charges of the ability. You've got an 18-second cooldown between the charges. You plop it down anywhere you want on the map, and then it generates creep around it. And when Zagara and her summons walk onto it, they move faster. And also, the creep tumor provides vision. The tumors last 4 minutes, and yeah, that's basically what it is. And generally speaking, creep tumors are, you pop them up continuously because the duration is so long. You want to get started dropping them in lane and then slowly creep up the whole lane. And then there comes this overlapping effect where the enemies don't know precisely where the creep tumors are. They are invisible to the enemy team until they use some sort of damaging ability to reveal them, and then they can clear them out. Xelya, how do you go about sprucing them in lane? Do you have like a set pattern, or is it different from map to map?
I would say it's different map to map, and also kind of like how am I feeling. Like if I have someone that's like Zeratul that's coming for me, then I definitely want to make sure that I have some of them in bushes from where he's going to be ganking. But if I don't really feel intimidated that anyone's going to really get me, then mostly I'm looking for mobility to be able to go into lane and go back to fountain, or to escape really fast. So it would probably be like right between just giving vision and giving me access to be able to run around.
A good mixture between speed and vision. Do you send them too far out, or would you say they're more like saturated deep within the lane?
Okay, so for me, because I am very greedy and it takes to me too long for me to go all the way out to just like set up vision so far out, where usually in the beginning everyone's like doing an ARAM mid, so I just want to focus on doing as much damage as I possibly can in that solo lane as fast as I can. So I don't really waste a lot of time going so far out and putting vision. So I just give like bare minimum vision, in the bushes that's close by lane, and one that's like right there smack in the middle of lane so that I can run away if I have to.
Mm-hmm.
So that's usually how I set up my stuff. If you want, like we could set up like a tutorial thing and like I can demonstrate.
That could be something we could do in a different video. For now, we're gonna focus everything on just the about section here, so we're not gonna be looking into it. But that is something on the future. We could totally do that. I
Right, cool.
notice. I noticed that you start the game and you immediately walk to the lane. You don't really participate in the starting fight. I assume it's to set up the creep tumors immediately.
Say that again.
I assume, say, start of the game, instead of you going like top lane for the fight, you go bot lane instead, and then
Yeah,
you start doing your thing. Is it to put down the creep tumors, or is it more so the structures?
it's more so just to get the structures.
Mm-hmm. Gotcha, gotcha.
Basically, I know that everyone's going to be mid. If I already see that someone's missing from mid, then yeah, I'll go ahead and put some creep tumors down. But typically, everyone's always mid, so I just gun it down.
Mm-hmm. Gotcha. You got that spare time. And then, generally speaking, we give you call-outs. Everybody has eyes on the minimap, and then we give an additional layer of security to the Zagara by giving them warning, hey, we just see them starting to run out of our lane. They might be going bot lane, for example.
Yeah, because I will say that the time that it takes to like really properly set up for vision is kind of the difference between whether or not I take out that first tower.
Mm-hmm. I see.
I mean,
And
I potentially can take out the first tower with the first wave of minions.
mm-hmm. So that's the laning phase right there. What happens if somebody is clearing out the creep tumors nonstop? What do you do in such a situation?
Oh, I hate them. But
So true.
yeah, I hate them because like mind your business. No, what I do is if someone's focused on taking out my creep tumor, then you know what? I just give it as a sacrifice. I put it in places where I just need to get that quick vision. And I'm more so focused on keeping it where I need it for utility to just make
Mm-hmm.
sure that I still have um, a carpet to run on.
Mm-hmm. Gotcha,
And
gotcha.
you gotta in a way so that way they can't really find the center of your creep circular structure. Like they can't
Yes,
find the center of really. Yeah.
it's really important. Like when there's like a critical mass, then it kind of gets really difficult to start clearing it out, unless you start from the edge and work your way inwards. But that takes a
Exactly.
lot of time. Mm-hmm.
Edge, it's definitely nice to just kind of like put it on the edge. Um, and what I notice is that like if you put it directly on the edge, people kind of expect that. And people also expect that it's going to be a certain distance away from the edge. So
Mm-hmm.
if you kind of like put it somewhere in between that, like chances of them being able to hit that is like pretty like they have to know exactly the shape of what they're looking for
Yeah,
to find the
really good
yeah.
tip.
Hmm.
Mm-hmm. Alrighty, so that's basically the creep tumor. Actually, one more thing. How do you place creep tumors in the mid and late game? Because it's going to be very different from the laning phase.
Oh wait, hang on. There's also like one more thing
Uh huh.
about creep tumors that I think a lot of people overlook is that I use creep tumors to also take hits from towers and forts and stuff like that for
Oh
me.
yeah.
So sometimes like if I'm in the middle of pushing lanes and stuff, like I will purposefully put that down just so that I can get extra hits off the towers.
Mm-hmm. And that's really important these days because the tower aggro is no longer prioritized on heroes. It will always prioritize whatever gets summoned. So the creep tumor comes up, they immediately attacks it.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's really nice because 2 hits and like even though it's only 2 hits, like it's still like a good amount of time. And if you have two creep tumors in charge, then that's 4 hits that you're potentially just like being able to avoid.
Oh yeah, that's really really good.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And especially with like fort armor shredding, being able to deactivate the aggro, like say somebody is trying to dive underneath the fort and you're there with them, If your summons are already doing it, you could drop an additional creep tumor, and then somebody that's trying to escape from the fort, and there's nothing around them. The creep tumor takes the aggro, and then resets on the next closest hero, which is no longer the same hero that's trying to run out.
Yes, I've done that before too. Yes.
Yeah, feels really good. And this is like
Yes.
one
Yes.
of Zagara's biggest strengths too. Like she crushes forts. Like she's so good at controlling them, especially in the modern day.
Yes. Yes.
Lovely. Let's go back to what? Yeah, mid and late game. How do you put down creep tumors?
So mid and late game, I pretty much just want to spread it as far as I possibly can. By mid game, I'm typically like level 10. So I'm focused on making sure that I have vision on top and bottom because I find that the rotations from top and bottom are farther
Mm-hmm.
way further than each other so that it gives me more time to be able to cause more chaos before people are able to rotate on me.
Mm-hmm.
So I typically want to get vision on their pathways going from top to bottom, getting vision on our camps just in case people are going to be coming in for stealing stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I'll be getting vision on their boss. I'll be getting vision on certain camps if I notice that their solo laner is not really watching their stuff, then I'm also going to be putting vision on that stuff so I
Uh-huh.
can potentially split. Um, and it's sometimes like I use it as a lookout. Like if I'm already in the middle of stealing stuff,
Mm-hmm.
then yeah, I use it as a lookout.
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
coming for me.
He has a crazy like what? It's either 9 or 10 division too, so it really extends far.
Yes, it does. And it's really good if you just kind of like hug them around corners because it gives you good
Mm.
vision that is like more than the 90 degrees of that corner that you are trying to hug it
Good
against.
point. Good point. Oh, actually, does the creep grow underneath the terrain? Does it like spread straight through them, or does it like curve around?
Through the what?
I'm not sure how the creep actually spreads. Say you place it right next to the wall. Does it go underneath the wall as if it never existed, or does it curve around the wall and then kind of like stops its growth short?
Oh, it just goes underneath it just like it doesn't exist. It spreads just like
Ooh.
if it were any other open space.
Ooh, okay, so you can do some mind games where you can kind of conceal where the true creep tumors are, like how we said that you give a big saturation of them and they can't clear it out so easily because they don't know
Exactly.
where it is.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
But you don't get vision behind a wall or anything like that. If you have the creep tumor like on the south side of a wall, even if you can see the creep spreading above that wall on the north side, you're not going to get vision of that north side. You're
Yeah,
just
that's
going to
true.
have, yeah, but it does spread further beyond
Mm-hmm.
that. And also, fun fact, like if you're playing against another Zagara, you can also use their creep tumor and get the same benefits off of it.
Ah,
So,
yes. Pro tip.
yes, yes.
I bet you ram
So
their
def
shit in too.
and sometimes what you can do as well is that if your creep tumor is getting destroyed, right? If you put one down immediately before it goes away, it will continue spreading from where it left off. So
Ah,
what you could do is destroy the enemy's creep tumor and put yours down, and it basically stays the same size. You don't have to wait for it to expand.
that's actually really, really smart. I like that.
Yeah.
Alrighty, I say
Oh,
that's enough about the creep tumor. Unless you got anything more to add to it, it is a pretty complex ability and definitely the first thing you need to master at Zagara to be any good at her, though.
I will say that timing for the creep tumors, like as you said, like you have 240 seconds on that. So like if you already have a good idea of what your pacing of how the game levels up on your side, like if you're familiar with how fast you level up, which for me, like around level 6, level 7, I already know that I will be able to reach level 10 before that creep tumor goes away. So I
Mm-hmm.
typically find a way to go in another lane somewhere around um, my level 6, level 7.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll just put it down there. So that way, by the time that I do reach level 10, it's either just about to despawn or it already despawned, and I can always catch just a little bit of it and be able to put down my Nidus Worm on it.
Ooh, that there is the knife's edge of a master. She knows exactly the minute that you put down the creep tumor as it's receding, and you still put it up.
It's funny because, like, I don't even time it. I just naturally feel it. Like, I just feel it.
You know, this is the draw the rest of the owl kind of thing, where you're so good you don't even know how to explain it.
Yeah, I don't know how to explain it. I just know it's there.
Oh my god. That's amazing. I love that. It's so wonderful. Alrighty, so Creep Tumor. We're going to move away from it, and then we're going to start her basic abilities. None other than Baneling Barrage as her Q. A 15 mana, 4-second cooldown with 2 charges, kind of similar to how the Creep Tumor works. And when you hold down the Q button, and then you start sending out charges of Banelings. And each Baneling does 80 AoE damage to whatever it hits. Basically, it's just super basic, like a DPS kind of output. You know, it's per primary or wave clear. It does good AoE damage, does good damage on whatever. Yeah, I don't have much to explain on it.
Yep. Honestly, I feel like Banelings are just my absolute favorite. Because the cooldown on it is very small. The mana consumption is very small. The amount of damage and the splash radius is just, it's beautiful. I love being able to just kind of like throw that out in the middle of team fights. And what I do is I don't directly aim it at someone sometimes, because if you directly aim it at someone, they automatically know to dodge it. However, if you aim it where you're just marking the edge to splash damage on them, they typically don't really try to dodge the splash damage. So a really good strategy of using Banelings is just kind of like knowing that radius of the splash damage, which honestly, it's huge. It's freaking huge.
Yeah.
Okay.
The thing goes boom.
Yeah, don't aim the center of the Banelings at them. Aim the edge of the Banelings at them, because the damage is still the same, whether or not you slap the Banelin straight in their face or you just kind of got the hem of their clothes. It's still the same.
100%. Do you aim at like walls to make them like explode sooner, for example?
What do you mean?
Like, since you don't need to aim directly at the enemy, like let's say you strike a wall or like the edge of a minion or whatever is a target, and the Baneling explodes sooner than thought, do you give any thought to that?
Yes, I do. I absolutely do. I use minions to explode those things prematurely all the time. It's such a good way of being able to be more accurate, I guess, as to where you want it to explode. So, like, being able to throw it on a minion when your enemy is right behind it, especially, is very good, because if you ever notice, like, backliners, they're always feeling safe behind a minion, like the back, like the ranged minions, they always feel safe there. But if you kind of just throw your Banelin to kind of hit the back row of the minions, it will always still reach them, like every single time.
Nice. Actually, that gives me an idea for the upcoming talent we're gonna trash pretty soon. But yeah, but that's really good to know.
Yeah, for some reason, people don't really dodge when it's like close by the minions for some reason. But yeah, it's nice when a Hanzo is just kind of standing right there by the ranged minions and like he thinks he's fine.
Nuh-uh. Send the Banelings.
I love it.
I love that. Oh, question. Do the Banelings benefit from the creep speed? I'm pretty sure it's obvious, but what's that? 30% faster? Yeah. So according to the creep tumor, it says that summons move 30% faster. I assume it applies to the Banelings too?
I actually don't pay attention to that.
Oh, well, that's something we got to test immediately.
I don't know. I feel like I probably naturally just know that it does or it doesn't, and I don't pay attention to it.
Gotcha. I'll put a editor's notes here whether or not it does apply. So, you know, a post me is going to explain that.
Yeah, I feel like it should though.
Yeah, I think it should. I think from like rough memory, I think it does move faster. I've noticed like when it's off creep, it's super kind of like clumsy, but when it's on creep, it's kind of like normal speed. So maybe my memory is maybe my memory remembers correctly, even though it's not explicit here.
I know it might, it should. They are summons,
Yeah, I
technically,
mean, even though it doesn't have a hit bar or anything like that, but by all means, it should go faster.
right? I would say
Hmm.
so.
Oh, and there's also a very important trick. How I've been playing Zagara, when I send out my banelings, I send them at like a 45-degree angle. And I guess that's okay, but I notice how you do banelings. You walk up straight into their mounts, and then you deploy the banelings.
Oh, yes. To say that would be also one of the reasons why I don't know the speed of the Banelins because I typically do like using them close up.
Hmm.
Part of the reason why is because Banelins take a while to get to where they need to go,
Big time.
and I'm very impatient, and I typically use it so for wave clear as well. And because again, the radius of the wave clear is so big, like the splash damage of the Banelin, it kind of matches the same shape that the waves
Hmm.
come down the lane in. So
Ooh.
if you were to stand in the middle, like right where the minion that has the heart, if you were to stand right in his face and start throwing your Banelins out on him, like it will hit the front row, the middle, and the back row. Versus
Yeah.
if you were to throw it from the side, you're still going to be missing the two minions in the back row and the front row on the other
Hmm.
side that you're coming from.
That's so true. When I send out the banelings, if it goes in that 45-degree, it'll hit like maybe one melee minion, but it's usually the back minions, and then I need another round of banelings for the front. But in your way, you hit all of them at the same time, which is very efficient.
Yes, because Zagara is very mana hungry,
Uh huh.
and I like to utilize the Banelins as much as possible so that way I don't waste as much mana just like
Hmm.
constantly throwing them out over and over again.
Exactly. So I noticed with Jaina, very true that you love banelings. I don't care for them personally, but now that you
Love
kind of
them.
put it up, like the mana to damage ratio is actually really good, and with the charge, you can choose exactly how much you're expending on the wave. Because as Jaina, let's say I have a minion wave, usually I drop the Blizzard. That's 90 mana to kill the whole thing, which is a good deal. But sometimes I don't want to drop 90 mana to kill. Maybe it's something I need less. But it's awkward because I don't have enough damage to fully clear it quickly. And then maybe I end up using the Blizzard anyways. But with the charges of the Baneling Barrage, you could choose exactly how much you need to use.
Exactly. You can almost clear out the whole wave with just 45 mana.
Yeah, really important
And just,
because, as you say, Zagara is mana hungry.
yes, she is.
Mm-mm. Alrighty. Anything more to Baneling Barrage? I don't think so.
Um, I guess that would kind of go with the Nidus Worm, though. So, I mean, but with Banelands with the Nidus Worm is
Mm-hmm.
like one of my favorite combos because with the cooldown reduction from the Nidus Worm, like you constantly have Banelands to throw.
Oh
It's
yeah.
like always available.
Mm-hmm. And then you just gotta keep. Oh yeah, and this one thing, keep smashing the Q button. But in Zagara's case, you actually don't need to smash it. Just holding down the Q button sends the banelings, and it took me way too long to figure that out.
Oh yeah, you could just hold it down. Back then they used to have it where you were basically stuck standing there until all the Baneland charges came out.
Mm.
And they changed that in an update and allowed you to be able to just release two at a time, which I think that was really clever
Mm-hmm.
because it makes you less vulnerable than before, where you like if you pushed Q, you were stuck standing there until they all were
Ah.
released. Yeah, where now you can just kind of tap it once, you're stuck for a little bit, and then you're back to moving again.
And that's really important because since you're tossing out the banelings continuously, becoming stationary for like a good portion of the game is very detrimental. So that's actually a really positive change.
Yeah, yeah. Especially considering like how Zagara really has no escape. It's like it's very important.
Yeah, really nice. That's what years of experience, you remember it back then. Oh man, what was pre-reworked Zagara like? I remember that thing. I don't think it
Oh
was very good though.
gosh. Yeah, when Zagara got reworked, it was really interesting because they also didn't have the Banelins be in pairs. It used to just be single.
Oh
You just
yeah.
had one that came out and you had, I think, 3 charges of it or 4 charges of it, and
Mhm.
you just had to have that all being released. And then they did the rework where now you get 2 Banelins per charge, and it's now individual charges themselves instead of just all being blah 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 blah. So um, the rework definitely made her a little bit more popular, I think, because I noticed a lot of people started playing her a little bit more. But I I can't say that I loved the rework as much as I did
Mm.
old school Zagara, because like old school Zagara was like way more to me. She had way more
Potential?
scary scariness to her. Because
Yeah.
yeah, because she was definitely a lot more like, I'm gonna take your lunch money whether or not you're going to give it to me
Hmm. Oh
back
yeah,
then
100%.
versus now where it's like, I'm still gonna take your lunch money, but like if you had your posse with you, like I might have to, where
Yeah, like you gotta be a little skittish from time to time.
yes. And then also because like throughout the time, like every other character is also getting buffed and they're getting increases and stuff like that. Like now Zagara is not so scary as she used to be, I would
Hmm.
say.
Hmm.
Because
Yeah,
back in the day, like you would have to send like 4 people to come and stop me.
exactly. And then we joke that Cigar needs yet another nerf, and she's still getting nerfs in modern Heroes of the Storm, which is insane.
I know,
Oh my god.
crazy. And I
But
know it's my fault. It's my fault.
all right, we know who to blame. So,
No,
uh,
don't I work around it. Um, but yeah, like I would say old school Zagara definitely was very, very cool.
hmm.
Also, there was this thing that she used to have where you could have like it was a number one that you could get where, um, I think Nazebo had this for a while where
Was
you
it
could basically
the ice block?
regain, no, 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 no. You got to regain your health and your mana every 30 seconds by just tapping that. So
Oh, it was
what
the
I
med kits. Oh my god.
yeah, that stuff was awesome because then what happens is that back then there was no reason to really grab Nidus Swarm.
Hmm.
I used to grab Maw all the time because all I had to do was tap Fountain when I depleted,
Hmm.
and then in between fountains I just used that little hotkey, and I never had to go
Hmm.
back to
It was
base.
it was good enough.
So, oh, it was amazing. But then they got rid of it.
Dang. Can't give Zagara
And then
everything. Alas, it is what it is. Rest in peace, old Zagara. I say we move on
I
to Hunter Killer before we start reminiscing about the old times because I know that's gonna be another 2 hours down the drain.
yeah, yes, Hunter Killer.
Oh,
Yes.
Lil Hydra, the star of the show, 75 mana, egregious cost. But this bad boy comes down on the field for 8 seconds, dealing a whopping 71 damage per second. That's higher than Tyranna's auto attack, by the way. And it has a decent amount of health. It stays focused on whoever it is you basically send it to fetch, more or less. And it keeps right clicking it from a distance.
Yes.
I'd say it's
He is
a.
my
Oh,
son.
continue,
Yes.
continue.
He's my beloved son. He is the favorite. Um, besides the Banelands. He is the favorite that can really stay around. Um, He definitely is like the death sentence.
Hmm.
You mark it, and that person's gonna die, pretty
Hmm.
much, unless you have a whole enemy that actually focuses on the minions, and that's pretty rare, I would say.
Hmm.
Um, but it's really nice because like in the middle of a fight, no one's really looking at my little boy just running around and just like
Hmm.
spitting on people.
100%.
No
And
one cares about.
this thing deals an insane amount of damage too. Like it's basically equal to Zagara's attack. Maybe 30% less, but that's still a high number.
Exactly. And when you have him paired up with the Banelins and with the Roachlings, like it's a good amount of damage that's constantly being drilled out.
Hmm. Now, is
And
there
I
any
also
like,
like when
and you also
people
like? Mhm.
I also like that when people think that, like when they're in the middle of a fight and they're like, "Oh, wait, crap, I'm about to die." Um they go and hide into like a bush or something, or like they try to run away, and for some reason, my baby boy does not give up. He's not a quitter, and he will go
Hmm.
around a corner and he will still get you anyways, and it's
Cha-ching.
just one of the most fun things ever.
I love that. It's always funny seeing just a random hero just pop up in the top left. Oh, you got killed.
Or when you die and you still get a kill anyways, and he's like,
Yes.
"Mama, proud." Yes, yes.
Hydra makes us so proud. We love it.
We love him.
Do you have like a specific strategy in which you send out a hunter killers, or do you just send it out on cooldown on like your laning opponent, for example?
No. So what I do, it depends on what I'm doing with the build. Like, say for example, if the enemy team is like super tanky, super beefy, and the tank overstays a lot, like he doesn't really get out of a fight,
Mm-hmm.
and I have my heals coming from my hunter, then I will definitely use the hunter to stay on the tank. So I will constantly have healing going on while I continue doing other stuff.
Mm.
However, if that's not the case, and more so, I need to get a backliner, like the healer or like a Vala or something, then I'll actually stick it on them, because
Mm-hmm.
once they start taking damage, they start backing up a little bit. So like if I need them to back away from the fight a bit, I will use him to pull them away.
Mm-hmm. And that's pretty important because although the Hydralisk is kind of squishy, it's annoying to spend resources or like mana in killing it. But it's important
Exactly.
that you do because it does a lot of damage. You gotta neutralize it as quickly as possible. But it is very good in scaring someone away to create space in zoning area more or less.
Yes, especially when you turn him into a Mutalisk, um, and it's even more so like it's more threatening having a Mutalisk chasing you,
Hmm.
because he will have vision everywhere. So it's not like you can just
Yeah.
run into it and like take away the aggro. Not like
Hmm.
when he's just a hunter, because you can remove the aggro if you go into the bush. He'll just kind of like run away a little bit. But
Very
if he's a
true.
Mutal, he will have vision in the bush as well and still be able to chase you all the way.
Yeah. We'll talk about the Mutalisk a little bit later. It probably changes a few of the mechanics of how the core Hydralisk works, but it's definitely
Yeah.
really good to know that hey, even if you try to run away, you got vision, you got flying movement, you got 30-second duration Mutalisk on top
Yep.
of you. Much
Yep.
better at doing the job you wanted to do, and that's you're scaring away the backliner, and the Mutalisk does a better job of it. Whereas the percentage HP damage gross of slime, it does better at drilling into a tank that's refusing to back up.
Exactly.
Mm, lovely. Oh, what a nice ability. 75 mana is a bit steep, and the cooldown is very harsh, so you gotta watch out that it doesn't accidentally get popped by random AoE. But damn, is it good. Oh, and lastly, this definitely moves faster on creep. Do you set up creep
Yes.
ahead of time for the hunter killer, or do you just send it out?
Um, I'm always putting creep down, so I don't really have to think about that. It's always there.
Hmm.
So I pretty much just send him out because it's always there.
Gotcha, gotcha. Same
Yeah.
old story. Just all systems forward. Just keep sending out the damage, whatever you can.
Yep. Yep.
Love that. All right, that's the Hunter Killer. Let's talk about the Infested Drop, where it's a. Oh man, it's kind of a disappointing ability, all things considered. But it's a 50 mana cost, 12-second cooldown, kind of substantial, and then you drop a paw that I think lands after a second and a half, dealing moderate amounts of damage, 140 damage, and it spawns 2 Roachlings afterwards that deal 30 damage each per second, and they last for 8 seconds. And I think the Roachlings, I think they probably have like 500 health or so they're a little tougher than the Hunter Killer, but they're not as dangerous.
Yeah.
I really don't
Um,
know how to use this ability. Walk me through here.
no, you're fine. The infested drop, it is a good skill in the right hands, not in my hands because I can't land this thing for crap. Everyone gets 5 business days to know exactly where it's going, when it's landing, and everyone
Mm-hmm.
avoids it like the plague. So the only way for me to get this to work is like in the middle of team fights, during objectives, like when people are not really focused so much on dodging, but more so like preventing people from doing something else. Then yes, this definitely works really nicely if you were to do the quest.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but it's also really, really good for just getting vision. Like if you wanted
Mm-hmm.
to get vision behind a wall, or you wanted to use it for taking camps, like if you were to get the level 1 talent for it, you can get them faster. They also have a little bit more HP.
Mm-hmm.
So that's really nice to really take out camps, get boss, stuff like that. But they're pretty much just like extra damage that you can just throw out there.
Yeah.
I will say that they're not as reliable as, like, say, the Banelands or the Hunter, which is why they're not exactly my favorite. Like, I still love them. There is love for them, but they're not my favorite because you can't really control what they're going to do.
Exactly so. And 2 brains makes it kind of difficult too.
Yeah, like I know that they're supposed to focus heroes and stuff like that, but there are many times where I will drop a pod and they immediately just start attacking minions instead
Mm-hmm.
of attacking
It's
a hero, just
so
because
true.
maybe they were just a smidge too far away from focusing the hero for some reason. I don't know what the deal is, but
Yeah.
it's not guaranteed damage. That's how I look at it.
Mm-hmm. So it's more of a utility type spell, catch all kind of thing. Does wave clearing, does a little bit of vision there. It's also really good at stalling objectives. Like if somebody's trying to capture, like let's say an altar or a shrine, this thing's really good at just putting an interrupt.
Exactly. And it's really good for taking aggro from, like, on the Hanamuro map where you have like the big Genji that's going
Mm-hmm.
down lane. If you were to kind of time it where right before he swings, you put your Roachland pods behind him, he won't swing forward. He would actually swing backwards instead. So it really
Mm.
helps to kind of control where his main swing attack is going to go. So like that's what I usually use them for as well, for like misdirection. Um,
Pro
and
tip.
this thing
Nice.
for bosses too. Yeah, like they're just there to take aggro.
Mm-hmm. It's also a really good at taking aggro from forts. Very strong at aiding a push. Mm-hmm.
Yes, 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 yes. I love using them behind the forts because if you have if you have the minion wave coming up on the side and you were to just time it where the roachling pods and the roachlings will come out of the pods just before the enemy minion waves match up to the back line of
Mm.
where the fort is, then you could literally stop the minion wave right there, which gives you perfect angle to be able to empty your canister of Banelands to
Mm-hmm.
get the fort, get the minion wave at the same time, and pick up a health
Mm-hmm.
globe to do it all over
Yeah.
again. Yeah.
Exactly so. Mm-hmm. I like that. And the ranged minions are also more important than the melee minions when it comes to wave
Yes.
dynamics.
Yes. Yes. Very important.
Mm-hmm. Very good tip there. And that looks like all the basic abilities. Give me just 1 minute. I need to check something real quick. Okay, no problem. Alright, let's talk about her heroics, starting with Devouring Maw as it comes up sooner. 80-second cooldown, moderate AoE. It's kind of tiny, all things considered. You summon a big maw after like a second delay. And actually, is it half a second or is it 1 second? I think it's half a second. And then it comes up and then it eats all the heroes that so happen to be within that area, and they get put underneath in a form of stasis where they're stuck in place for 4 seconds, and they take big damage too. They take like 400 total damage, and then after the 4 seconds, they all get regurgitated out with a tiny, very brief, like disabling effect, and then they can act. Very strong for setting up combos, isolating a target. Yeah, it's a pretty versatile teamfight kind of ability. Though I know for a fact you don't like it as much. So when do you pick up Devouring Maw?
So Devouring Maw, I would say it's a very situational grab for me, because Nidus is my favorite for a reason.
Mm-hmm.
There is so much that I'm giving up with Nidus by picking up Maw. And I would have to be in a good group that knows what to do when I use Maw. And it's very hard to find that with randoms or, like people that are not experienced. And so there are
Mm-hmm.
times that if I feel as though my teammates are not good enough for me to not have Nidus, that's why I just don't. But if I were to have like good teammates where it's like you, my husband, we got Richard, and like we need the Maw,
Mm-hmm.
then yes, absolutely, I will grab it. Maw is really, really good for obviously Butcher. Maw
Mm-hmm.
is also really good for what my favorite is to isolate. So typically, like if we had like Richard on stitches and he's like pulling someone, the
Mm-hmm.
natural default for the enemy is,
Is they
oh
try
my
to
gosh,
run.
let's get back. Yeah. And that's usually the perfect time to be like, okay, gotcha, bitch.
Mm-hmm.
Let me know. That's a perfect time to, okay, I got this person. This is where I can grab the healer. This is where I can grab the damage dealer. This is where I can grab someone that's usually very annoying in
Mm-hmm.
the middle of team fights. Or even just to stop someone from doing something that would be really, really disastrous, like Kira doing her little swirly twirly thing.
Yeah.
That's good on her too.
Whatever ETC
Like,
tries to mosh.
yes, ETC, or Phoenix when he's doing his ult,
Mm-hmm.
that thing where he throws out all the balls that are like locked onto you.
Yeah.
Um, it's really good to just kind of like disrupt really, really bad ults that are about
Mm-hmm.
to just screw the whole team over. But mostly I love using it for isolations because typically I don't use it for damage because, again, even though the
Mm-hmm.
damage output is pretty nice, like
The
it's
CC is more
still not
important.
enough. Yeah, it's more so just for CC for isolation or to prevent someone from using their ults, I would
Mm-hmm.
say in my book.
Now, you raise a very, very good point in how you target your enemies, and when they are distracted by, say, there is some situation going on, and then you come in from the sidelines, or that what you are supposed to be focused on, you suddenly turn it on them. Because when the enemy team are hungry, like they're on the offensive, like a predator is blind to its own peril. So when it's trying to kill someone or go after someone, or they're being distracted by something, they're not going to be looking at their own feet, and that's when they stop paying attention to how close they are to their other teammates, and that's when a Maw catches multiple heroes.
Yes. And another good thing for using Maw is because of the size, it's really good for narrow pathways where you can
Yeah.
literally use it as like a 4 second wall.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and so sometimes I'm pretty sure some people would think that I'm missing my Maw. But actually, because I know Maw doesn't really do that much damage, I use it to just kind of block people from getting away.
Mm-hmm.
And the whole team does a lot more damage than one single Maw, in my opinion.
Exactly so.
So,
You wall them
so
off, and you don't put
mm,
them in stasis either, so you're giving the pain in the meantime for the 4 seconds.
exactly, because to me, Maw kind of protects them during the whole time
A
that they're
little bit.
stuck there, and I hate that. So I love using it as just being a wall to just kind of like prevent people from going over it. And also because of how big it is, certain people can't really jump over it either.
Mm-hmm.
So, it's pretty nice to be able to have that kind of wall where it's not a thin wall like Tacitar's wall, where,
Yeah.
people can still kind of like jump over it easily.
Also true.
Yeah.
Hmm. We also did not clarify. When the Maw gets summoned, it actually counts as unpassable terrain, like how Tassadar's wall works in a circular formation. So that's what she's describing here. That when you block off a wall, it's because the Maw is physically exerting itself. And that's cool because anybody that's unstoppable, they still can't walk through it. And that's another thing. You mentioned Butcher. Maw is unique in that it's one of the few abilities that can still grab people even when they're unstoppable.
Yes, yes, yes. That's the one benefit of Maw is because I think it's one of the only ults that can actually stop something that's unstoppable.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, with the exception of Deathwing. Deathwing doesn't fit into the mob, but he's the only
Yeah.
exception. If Garrosh is running up with his unstoppable buff, or Butcher is doing his thing, or Whitemane drops her ultimate at level 20, you can still maul them perfectly fine, which is a really strong benefit.
Yep, yep, yep.
Mm-hmm. There's also like wombo combo potential, and that's that you drag people together, and then suddenly in higher ELOs, people are very good at timing their abilities, so they know their hero in and out. They'll understand like when there's a second left, they'll be able to drop their abilities, and then as soon as the enemies come out, it basically destroys them, and that kind of like resetting the team fight is very important.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Do you ever drop the maul like how you drop a cocoon on Anubarak, where there's somebody you really don't care to see and you'd prefer just shoving them aside to not be a problem? You're not planning to kill them, you just want them gone for 4 seconds.
Yes, Morales, 100%. I love catching her. Um,
Mocus for Alice.
no, I have zero love for Morales. I'm sorry. I hate her. I absolutely hate her because she just continues healing people all the time. And, Ma is just like, stop that.
Mm-hmm.
Take a
100%.
break. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So like those are really good for just like getting healers out of the field. Um, or taking someone that has like really good damage out of the field, like a Golden um, or ooh, or stopping KT from using his ult.
Yeah, you see the Power Blast charging up, you still have a little bit of a timing window to drop them all.
Yeah, I love doing that. I love doing that. It's so fun. It's so fun
Mm-hmm.
stopping them from doing that. But yeah, it's pretty much just to kind of like take certain people out of the fight, so that we have a chance to kill everybody else. So that way,
Mm-hmm.
by the time that they get out, they're about to get raped just like their other teammates.
Goddamn. That there is the
Yep.
power of Maw. Really good
Yep.
ability, but despite that, it's not Xelya's favorite. We now move on to the Nidus Network. 50
Oh my.
mana, 50 mana cost, 2 charge ultimates. That is pretty deluxe, but it's on a 2-minute cooldown. You summon a Nidus Worm anywhere that has creep, and when you do so, a Nidus Worm pops up. It does nothing by itself. But Zagara herself is allowed to enter this worm in order to travel to another Nidus Worm that could be anywhere else on the map. And up to 4 Nidus Worms can be on the map, which allows her basically to have a quick access tunnel to go anywhere she wants to. And another important thing is whilst you're in the worm, you also regenerate 10% of your maximum health and mana per second. So Zagara can very quickly top herself off. She doesn't need to go back to base, so long as she has access to a Nidus network. And let's not forget there's 2 additional passive components to it that are not obvious, but they're pretty crucial for Zagara. 1, creep spreads 50% farther. It's whatever, but Zagara is very dependent on creep for good damage output because her summons need to reach her targets. Speed is important for them, and it's also safer for her. And it also makes her creep tumors more difficult to find because if they spread further, every creep tumor is exerting a weird circle, and it suddenly becomes very confusing where they are. And second, there's a cooldown reduction component, and this applies to everything she has. While on creep, each basic attack she does will reduce the cooldown of her Q, her W, her E, her creep tumors, and more Nidus networks. So long as she's on creep, she gets cooldown reduction for free, and it's literally 40% cooldown reduction. If she's attacking nonstop.
Yes.
Whew. Take it away from here.
Yes, this is my favorite, mostly for that passive of having cooldown reductions, because a lot of her skills have a long cooldown. And I think it's by design, because if you were to just go ahead and use a Nidus network, a lot of these cooldowns don't really mean anything anymore. They're just numbers. So
It really feeds
yeah,
into the spam everything Zagara playstyle.
yes, pretty much, because once you get Nidus, like, you pretty much can constantly dish out damage nonstop. And it doesn't matter what you're attacking. As long as you're on creep, you could attack minions, you could attack the little walls, you could attack anything, and you're still going to be getting cooldown reductions.
Very
So
important.
if you're getting a 0.4 cooldown reduction on your Banelands, like, you're pretty much getting these like almost every 2 seconds.
Yeah.
And that's a lot of damage to be getting almost every 2 seconds for as little as, I think, the lowest price of mana in the game.
Yeah. Exactly so.
So yeah, so I mean, it's really, really nice, having stable damage coming out. And yes, having the mobility with the Nidus network is definitely a huge, huge plus. Being able to have more time to cause a little chaos in the enemy side and then kind of go back to safety, which is really, really nice. By the way, new players, if you only have one Nidus up and they destroy it, you will pop out of it. So please make sure that you always have at least one Nidus that's safely tucked away somewhere. If you're really,
Pro
really
tip.
new, definitely leave it in base. But if you like to live on the edge like me, then you put it everywhere else. But
Man, there's
so yeah.
so much about Nidus Network. Like,
Oh
for
yeah.
example,
Not
we
really.
only just scratched the surface of the passive in that it gives you more of everything for Zagara, and it kind of completes her logistics in that it complements. You take away the Devouring Maul, which is CC and maybe team fight potential, but in return, you're getting a much better hero. You have more abilities, more damage, more mana, so you can cast those same abilities too, and sustain as well.
Yes.
Maybe that's why
And
like you're so consistent too, because even if we play like these very sketchy games with Zagara, you still output a lot of damage, and I feel the effect of Zagara on the game because you have Nidus Network where I would have picked Devouring Maw, and then when I blow my ultimate on one hero, I realize, oh, I'm kind of useless right now. But you have consistent damage in all like aspects in every stage of the game, no matter where you are.
exactly. And I think a lot of people think Nidus Network is not for battle. It is not a um it is not a passive ult. It's a very battle forward.
Now, sorry about that, guys. We had to take a little break. We're back at it. We last left off talking about the Nidus Network having a more active component and role compared to what people actually use it for. You were leading off somewhere there. Tell us more about that.
Right. So with the Nidus Network, I feel like it's it's usually overlooked that you can get a cooldown reduction with every basic attack. So basically, when you're in the middle of a team fight, throw down some creep, stay on top of it. poke at the tank if you need to, just to keep basic attacking something.
Mm-hmm.
And you're able to have cooldown reduction by zero point 0.4 seconds with every auto attack. So you're able to continuously drop a pod, throw some Banelins, put up your little Hydra. Like you constantly get a rotation of being able to just
Mm-hmm.
drop stuff in
Mm-hmm.
the middle of a fight. My favorite are the Banes because I mean they come back so fast, and plus with a Nidus, like you're basically constantly able to just throw out a Bane lane.
Endless
Like,
banelings coming at you.
yeah.
Yeah. So that's something a lot of people really discount, and honestly, I discount it. I didn't even know it was on. It was part of the Nidus until I started playing with you that it gave you cooldown reduction, and it's really a big deal. That's a 40% cooldown reduction if you're constantly hitting something like you described.
Mhm.
Another more combat like active component to it, I suppose, is that you use it like a supersized creep tumor, where it's got a lot of health and it keeps a presence of creep so that you can play off of it, which is actually really cool.
Right, yeah. There's actually some other like side benefits of using the Nidus, which I totally just spaced out on mentioning.
Mm-hmm.
Nidus network is also like really huge. So
Mm-hmm.
I love using it as like an obstacle to just kind of like block off
Yeah.
people's path.
I've been
Um,
seeing a lot of that lately. It's just so cool to see.
yeah, it's super fun. And there's also like this really cool little trick that you can do where it can actually stop um KT from doing his combo on you if you basically put it down between you and KTZ,
Oh my god.
and he isn't able to do his full combo and killing you in that way.
Oh my
So, I
god.
mean, there's so many benefits of having the Nidus network. One thing that I do like to use it for as well is kind of like just having a bigger reinforced creep, because
Mm-hmm.
with the creep tumors, like those are easily destroyed. But
Mm-hmm.
if you put a Nidus network like somewhere in the back behind where you're going to be fighting, you'll basically always have access to some creep in some way,
Mm-hmm.
shape, or form. And that takes several more hits instead of a creep tumor.
Mm-hmm.
So just throwing
Very.
that out there.
Very important since we were talking about that cooldown reduction is only in effect if you're on creep. How often do you use it like a supersized creep timer? Is it something you want to hold a charge for, or only if it's in the moment, really?
Um, I use it depending on like what kind of team fight it's going to be. Because usually I don't stick around for team fights because
Mm-hmm.
the moment I show my face, everybody turns on me.
Mm-hmm.
So like if it's a team fight where people don't really pay attention to me and like they all just like focus on someone else, or if I'm able to have like a huge front line of tanks to just keep poking at, like if they have like Blaze or a Nub or like
Say
maybe even
Arthas.
Terry, kind
Mm-hmm.
of like they feel like they're invincible, and so they don't really care on how many shots they're taking.
Mm-hmm.
um and yeah, I will be like, you know what, I'm gonna stick around for this fight. But if there's like a Hanzo that's like focused on breaking down my creep tumors, then those are the moments where I'm like, okay, I want to stick around for the fight, but there are some people that are actually focused on my creep tumors, so let me
Mm-hmm.
put down Big Bertha, and we'll
Mm-hmm.
be able to a little bit more sustained creep so I can continue stacking on those cooldown reductions and just keep poking away at them. And
mm-hmm.
usually, if it's a serious fight, like we have real competition, I usually go slow banes. So I usually like to play into that. So um whenever we're fighting versus like very mobile people,
Mm-hmm.
um I'm usually able to sneak my slow banes on an angle to get the back lines. So like Hanzo, when he's in the middle of like doing his little jumpity jump,
Mm-hmm.
I already know where he's going and I start throwing a slow bane his way. So when he lands, he gets slowed.
Mm-hmm.
And my teammates, fortunately, are really good at backing up. They go after it.
Yes.
So I just set up the plays. If it comes along, you guys definitely bank on it, and it definitely helps to kind of like keep that poke going, where those little squishy people in the back that they're always scared to like really go forward, they they feel that slow bane pressure, and then they're
Mm-hmm.
being even more careful on how they're going to initiate in the team fight. So then it leaves the front lines to be basically vulnerable.
Mm-hmm. Really
So
smart
I just keep,
analysis. I like that.
yeah, yeah. So I keep poking at the tanks, get my cooldown reductions, throw my slow banes at the little squishies in the back, throw my pods back there as well, um, and just keep harassing the back line, honestly,
Mm-hmm.
while I'm still in the front.
That's a very valid strategy. When I play other heroes like Tyrael, where I have a lot of reach and threats with my body, being able to disconnect the enemy backline from their front line is actually a really valid strategy. Because suddenly, the rest of your team is banging on their front line, and it's only a matter of time before they implode. The tanks can't do anything on their own. But the back line, they can't approach and help the team because there's a Zagara wailing on them, and she's actually pretty decent in these strange microscopic ARM fights where there's distance and there's no engagement, but Zagara kind of wins those kinds of trades. And this is very true with other type of heroes like Tyrell, as I mentioned, Lunara especially. And when you disconnect them,
Mhm.
you kind of conquer it in detail. You kill the enemy tanks, and then you come back to finish off the enemy backline.
And it's also really nice to have like a portable like mini fountain, like in
Mm-hmm.
the middle of a fight, you're using so much cooldown reduction, you're literally spending mana at all times, and
Yeah.
sometimes you just gotta hop in and just like get a little bit more mana and just come back out to harass them more. Like
Absolutely.
unlimited.
The difference between having 0 mana and 30% mana is a world of a difference in Heroes of the Storm, especially when a fight suddenly sparks and you're caught with no mana. Being able to just rejuice a little bit is really, really clutch. Plus, how about those initiations you do with the Nice Network, where you ride in on the sandworm and you pop up at some random creep right next to the fight? That's always awe-inspiring to me when I see it in action.
Yeah. So I always like to have creep in lanes after level 10. Mostly maybe at level 11 and 12 is when I can actually go ahead and use it for
Mm-hmm.
those surprise attacks. Um, but yeah, like basically like whenever there's a team fight going, like the enemy is like pushing against us in a top lane or something, and they see that I'm clearly bottom, so they feel, very secure that they're going to do something top. Um, they usually for some reason ignore the fact that there's creep
Mm-hmm.
right behind them. And so that's usually when I'm like, okay, you know what? I see that my team is going in and I see that they're retreating and they're just like, oh my gosh, we are scared. We don't have this fight. That's when I'm like, okay, surprise attack. I come out, I my slow banes and slow them down even more so that my team can catch up to them and just like be like, okay, annihilation.
Hell yeah.
And yeah, it's really fun. Or especially whenever there's someone that's low health and they think that they're about to get away. Like, yes, I like to just like pop in like Jack in the Box and just be like,
Mm-hmm.
you don't get to make it home today.
That's hilarious. The Zagara assassin, finding you in the alleyway with her 12 million goons.
Yeah, and the good thing about the Zagara creep is that you can also use the enemy's creep. So I
Mm-hmm.
love playing against another Zagara, not in
Mm.
lane, but as an enemy in general, having another Zagara on the other side is like, oh, I can put my Nidus Worm anywhere. As long as I have vision of it, I can put it down
That's
and
so
I can
cool.
pop up their own base. It's
Hmm.
really, really fun.
I love seeing the initiations from the Nice Worm, but I think I have to get better at remembering that we have to fight around creep for it to happen to begin with if you want to join the fight like that. If we're not on creep, obviously it's not going to happen, but I always forget about it in the moment. So it's something I have to keep side eye on. And it's really interesting because you are the only Zagara that does this kind of thing. Usually they pick up Nidus networks. They are split pushing forever, or they use it like a shortcut. I never see them use it to pop into a fight like that.
Really, I never paid attention, but I just feel like if you have the chance to go, like, why not?
Yeah. I mean, question: when was the last time you remember some other Zagara doing that?
Um, I don't know. I don't think I've ever seen
Yeah. This is why I say Lisan al Gaib when you go through it, because yeah, it's the Messiah coming through the Nice network, and it is
either.
always insane. Mm-hmm.
I
Tell me.
think I think this also highly depends on the team that you play with
Oh,
because
totally.
I will say, like, I mean, I'm pretty sure you hear me say this often, but it really is true. Like, I can only be as good as my team is
Mm-hmm.
because for me to be able to do surprise attack, I have to be able to trust that my team is going to follow through with me.
Mm-hmm.
But if it's with a group of people that I don't know, the confidence of being able to surprise and
Mm-hmm.
not die is really low.
Mm-hmm.
But because I know my group, I know that if I go in, I'm just going to have my back. We're just going to have my know that like my husband's gonna have my back. Like he's gonna be Genji, just like jumping in and just
Mm-hmm.
like annihilating them as I go in and slow them down. Like I just know what my role is. If my group knows what their role is,
Mm-hmm.
but if I don't have that trust, I wouldn't try to do things like that with randoms.
Mm-hmm. Totally. In a scenario where your team, for example, you're the only person I see that does this, and I have frequent contact with you. For everybody else, they never think of the Nice network in that capacity. So they probably don't even allow the Zagara to have that chance, to do the thing. So they only ever see it as a split pushing tool. Another thing is when it comes to Zagara, it's very true. It's so dependent on the team composition. Sometimes it's better for the Zagara to just split push forever, and sometimes you do want to join the fight, but either you join it, standardly, like you're just walking into the fight, or you go through the Nidus and engage from the side. It depends so much on the type of enemy heroes. Sometimes it's a bad idea for you to show up by yourself, and then suddenly you're face to face with an Illidan. That could get pretty tricky, or you're face to face with a very vulnerable Ana on the backline. You just chew her up. Is there a specific enemy team that you're worried about doing the Nidus network engages? Is it something you think about?
No, I don't think about any of that. When I play Zagara, I feel like I own everything. Um, the only thing that I do feel threatened by is if I'm against, um,
Is it Chen?
let's see. You know what? Yes.
It's
Chen,
always Chen.
yeah, even if he's not a good player, like a Chen, because he's constantly able to he's constantly able to chug his wine, like
Mm.
I don't have enough sustain to keep up with his.
Oh no.
Not unless I reach level 10. But
Mm-hmm.
even then, once I reach level 10, he's also level 10 and he has so much crowd control for me
Mm-hmm.
that I really can't do anything against him one-on-one. Um, but even when I play against a really good Chen, like I'm still not worried because after after the solo laning phase is
Hmm.
over, um, I count on my team to be able to uh, do what
Deal
they
with the Chen.
do, where
Yeah.
where you guys where you guys just kind of like go in and you guys are just like either dominating on team fights or distracting them long enough that I don't really focus so much on Chen because I mean, what is he gonna do? Unless he kills me, there's nothing that he can do.
Hmm.
So I just have to play safe and wait until the opportunity comes where he has to go and help his team. And then that's when I just macro that map. And I
Hmm.
just, take out everything as fast as I possibly can before he comes back for me.
Absolutely. It's a very important thing to master about a hero is realizing what is a big threat to you and realizing what is the extent of your tools. Is it something that you can deal with, or is it something that you rather leave it to your teammates? And even if you have like a good solution against that one threat, maybe you intentionally leave it off the table whilst you focus on your core elements, your core talents that can deal with the other four enemy members on the enemy team much more securely. And it's kind of the same thing with
Yeah,
Zagara and Chen and some of her other counters. I think you just gotta leave it to the rest of the team. You just have no CC to stop the wine chugging, and he will always beat you 1v1 when he's able to start the fight on you.
yeah, Chen is the only one that I haven't been able to figure out. Like, I mean, and I'm not talking about like average, because average Chens, yeah, I can still kill him easy peasy. But like good Chen players,
Mm,
there is absolutely nothing that I can do to kill them one on one. Like
mm-hmm.
I've tried so many different builds. I've done builds where and I even tested this out with my husband where we went into like a tutorial mode or whatever it was,
Mm-hmm.
and he was Chen and I basically stayed stacking my basic attacks
Mm,
on that little like dummy, and
mm-hmm.
I got, I think, like 400 stacks on my
Oh my
basic
god.
packs, and the I had my roachlins doing percent damage and
I see.
everything, and Chen still wouldn't die.
Mm-hmm. Goodness me.
Not
A good
not
Chen.
even
Oh man, a good Chen is
yes.
oppressive to everything on the roster. I think the only way you beat him is like you have so much sustain that you really don't care about the Chen, and I that's the only thing you can do against him. And then maybe like,
Yeah, but with yourself it's not going to happen. The only thing I
mm-hmm,
think is to have a team fight and have somebody just like be able to kind of lock him down and then we just all like pounce him at the same time. But
absolutely,
besides from that, there's nothing that I can do one on one versus a really good Chen.
mm-hmm, for real, for real. But I say
Like
enough about. I say,
world.
sorry to derail the conversation. We'll probably move away from Chen as it's a
Mhm.
very hero specific kind of thing, but he does counter Zagara very hard. What about using Nidus networks on the map? Where do you prioritize putting them for the purposes of like positioning or split pushing, or like in general, really? Like you got four slots, where are they going?
Okay, so typically, like if I want to be safe, there's going to be one back at base, there's going to be one in every lane. So there's going to be one bottom, mid, and top.
Hmm.
Um, if not, and I'm usually very, you know, I'm very trolly and I like
Up
to
to no
play
good.
around. Yeah, I'm typically up to no good. So yes, I will probably try to drop one in the forest where it shouldn't be.
Hmm.
Um, the chances of it getting taken out is pretty high, but I'll still put it there anyways, just
Hmm.
because I can. There's no rhyme or reason for it. It's just because I can.
Hmm.
Um, but most of the time, one in every lane, and then I leave that fourth one to kind of just be. just in case if I want to do a surprise attack, or just in case, like I want to steal something real quick from the enemy and get away.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I usually like, I would say level 14 ish
Mm-hmm.
is when I will have 4 Nidus Worms down and I will have 2 charges.
Mm-hmm.
So I will use those 2 charges for like just in case like my last Nidus Worm got destroyed, which is usually that fourth one that I mess around with. And this is why I put it random places, because I do want it to get destroyed, because
Mm-hmm.
that's what the bonus 2 charges are for, is for
Mm-hmm.
me to like quickly go and do a surprise
Ah.
and still like be able to have my main 3 where they need to be.
Mm-hmm.
Because with a Nidus Worm, if you put down 4 and you use a 5th one, it's going to remove your first Nidus Worm that you put down. And if
Gotcha.
I don't want that
Gotcha.
to happen, I need my 4th one to kind of be like a troll Nidus Worm where people will destroy it, so I can actually play around and place it somewhere else.
Mm-hmm. Very smart. Taking advantage of the charge-based system as well, so you can store extras until that moment occurs.
Yes. Or
Mm-hmm.
sometimes what I do is like, because I have 2 charges, if I do use it to kind of like quickly put down a 4th one and I lose my first one because I have 2 charges, I know that it will get demolished. I just put it back before the creep disappears.
Mm-hmm.
So I
Gotcha.
basically just put it back.
Oh,
Yeah.
speaking of creep disappearing, I've given it some thoughts. Is if you like let's say start of the game, you're doing your thing, you have your lane, and then when level 10 approaches, do you rotate to the other side of the map so you can have your pair of Nidus networks on both ends of the map? Is that something you do?
Yes. So usually I set up for that before level 10.
Mm-hmm.
Um if I am in bottom lane, I always have a creep back by the, what is it, fort, keep, whichever building that
Yeah.
is.
Fort is the front one, keep is the back.
Yeah, so I have it by my fort pretty much all the time. So around level 5 is when I make my way top somewhere, like say that I had to go back to base, because I completely run out of mana and I
Mm-hmm.
don't have any other way of being able to sustain anything. I'll go back to base and I'll swing by top lane, drop down a creep back there at the fort,
Mm-hmm.
and then I'll make my way back down bottom. And I know that by the time that I reach level 10, it's just in time for me to place my Nidus Worm at bottom lane and at
Mm-hmm.
top lane.
Gotcha. Really smart. I
Mhm.
think level 4 timing is what, 3 minutes or so? Because I know level 10 timing is actually no. It's level 6 that's 3 o'clock because oftentimes the first objective spawns right before level 7 is comfortably attained by either team. And then like 3:30 or 4 minutes in, level 7 comes in. And then level 10 comes around 6 minutes. So if you plop it down like 3:30, it's going to be there just in time for the Nidus to come up. Because the creep tumors last 4 minutes from that point on.
Yes.
Smart. I like it. Wow. I gotta say, this Nidus network thing we've been talking about for like 30 minutes straight. What an interesting ability. Really big privilege to have it on Zagara.
Yeah, and I don't know if we can talk about level 20 talent for it yet. So I've been kind of holding off on that.
Hmm. I say we hold off. That's gonna be the payoff for getting to the end of here. Uh,
Okay.
Alrighty, without further ado, that is all of Zagara's abilities overexplained. It's now time for the next daunting task, going through all her talents. And just like in every video, we start from level 1, and then we're just going to be detailing them down as we go along. So, Zagara, level 1, Volatile Acid. Banelings can travel 50% further before exploding. Zelaya, let me tell you, this is probably a contender for top 5 worst talents in the game. Agree or disagree?
That the increased Balin range is one of the worst top 5?
Yes, hot opinion from me. That's how I feel.
Um, honestly, it depends. It
Mm,
depends. I will say that even though I don't grab it often, there are very rare moments when I do
mm.
grab it.
When do you grab it?
And whenever we're playing against like really far range people like Chromie, Li Ming,
Mm.
and say that I am determined that I'm gonna be in the team fights a bit more like on is it Hanafuku Temple
Hanamura?
or something? Yeah, there you go,
Yeah, wide
Hanamura.
open.
Then
Mm-hmm.
yeah, then having that or on the map where we get that robot, um
Volskaya Foundry?
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
that's a good map to get this talent on. Like, because you have really good range on poking and um again, like playing the style of being able to stack it with Nidus and like poking at the tanks and assassin, like the assassins are in the back and
Mm-hmm.
you're just like, let me just keep throwing Banelins back there. It's really good for stacking with slow banes
Mm-hmm.
and kind of helping to force enemies to kind of choose how they want to die. Like, do they want to die to these banelands or do they want to avoid the banelands and die to the
Mm-hmm.
whole team? So
Mm.
it's like you pick your poison. So I think it's good for that aspect, but I usually don't go for it.
I
It's
see.
the pay is not that great because yeah, you can poke at people, but I think getting either the corpse feeders or the infest is like way, way better.
I totally agree. In that scenario you gave, it's a very specific example where one, it needs to be a very open battleground where the banelings can actually travel before they hit a wall, and two, you need actually enemies far back for it to matter. Who cares if you get extra maximum range when you're hitting an Imperious that's right in front of you, for example?
Exactly. Or, actually, I just thought of it because I have used it in this rare occasion
Mm-hmm.
as well. Is that like if I'm playing against enemies that they know me and they are hyper focused on me, and the moment I show my face on the mini map, I know that they're coming towards me, then this is also really good. So I'm able to start focusing on their towers at a safe
Mm-hmm.
range.
Ah, I
So
see.
I
Yeah,
have
yeah.
to, yeah, because if you time the minion wave with your minion wave, you're able to attack the tower, the gate, and the minions at the same time with the
Ooh,
same.
smart. Pro tip.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
I like that.
So you watch your minions, and when they're going to start crossing the gate, like right before they start crossing the gate, you start throwing all those banelands out right at the corner where the tower and the gate and the minions will kind of like cross here there.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Very smart. I like that a lot. Makes sense since it's something Tassadar is really interested in. He's also super vulnerable to getting ganked, and he's a wave clearing machine. So he typically picks up these range increasing talents so that he can safely clear the waves without getting ganked, especially when you're facing off against opponents that know what you're up to.
Exactly.
I haven't thought of it that way. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Okay. Maybe my opinion changes, but still, it's a very niche kind of talent. It doesn't really
I still
increase. It doesn't really
worth.
increase. Yeah,
Still
it's
think
not
it's
worth
top
it.
5. Not worth it.
Well, maybe for Zagara specifically, it's definitely maybe bottom five because there's a lot more interesting options in my opinion. Speaking
Yeah,
of
you get
more,
way more
Mhm.
than the
Oh,
others.
continue, continue.
There's way more payoff with getting corpse feeders and infest.
Mm-hmm. And speaking of corpse feeders reduces the cooldown of infested drop by 3 seconds, and roachlings have 30% more health. A basic stat booster, but nothing more to it really. Zelaya, what do you think about this?
All right, so with corpse feeders, I love getting this whenever I want to be able to steal camps really fast, take our own camps. It's really good for that. It's also good for, you know, taking other things if you get my drift. But
Mm-hmm.
um, you you basically kind of use it as like portable minions. You
Yeah.
know, that's is. It's portable minions.
Mm-hmm.
If you do end up getting the level 7 talent with it, with the bile drop, like if
Mm-hmm.
you're really good at letting those pods, like especially during team fights when there's so many big bodies to just like land them on, then yeah, it definitely pays off to get this with that bile drop level 7 talent,
Mm-hmm.
and then you get it stacked up with a level 16 corrosive saliva,
Mm-hmm.
and then you're gravy. You can definitely like take out tanks, you can take out like a really good amount of structures, even because you will have the additional minion with it,
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. More
because you
uptime, more health. Mhm.
Mhm, exactly.
Gotcha. So corpse feeders, good if you plan on doing more specifically mercenary kind of work and structure sieging. And then it also
Hmm.
helps if you play into the bile drop game plan. Obviously, it helps a lot in that regard because you get an additional rustling to take advantage of it.
Yes.
Simple talents, not bad. Let's talk about Infest now, a personal favorite. Nearby ranged minions
Yeah.
deal an additional 100% damage plus an additional 1% damage per 1000 siege damage Zagara has dealt. Can be toggled on or off. Basically, she stays near the minions and they turn into complete killing machines. Yeah, I know you got a lot to talk about it, so I leave the floor to you.
Oh, these are my favorite. Absolute favorite. Because I love PvE, so I know that my siege damage is always gonna be big.
Uh
So
huh.
like once we reach like late game, don't leave me alone for too long, because you won't have a house by the time that you turn back around.
It's so true.
That's all I gotta say. That is
Oh
my
my
favorite.
god. Yeah, and as minions scale exponentially, their raw stats increase at a faster rate at the end game, at a faster rate compared to the early game. That percentage increased damage, oh, it scales out of control. And I see you knock down keep it like, I don't know, 8 seconds flat.
Yep. Especially now with the new minion rework, where the backline wait, is it just the backline? I think it's just the backline. The backline minions,
Mhm.
if you're attacking a structure, they also get another boost.
Oh yes, yes, yes. They actually nerfed Infest at the time of this recording because they were adding the attack speed and movement speed buff to the minions. Otherwise, they not only would they hit really hard, but they would also attack even faster. So there is a lot of synergy with Infest with modern day minion dynamics.
Mhm.
Really
But I
dangerous.
mean, to be honest, the main reason why I love Infest is because I like to call it incest. And I also love the visuals of just like seeing those little minions just like have
Yeah.
like
Oh my god, I see it. Do you see the fact that there's like a angry larva for the icon of the talents? So yeah, I guess it really is incest. Oh my god.
but yeah, that's the main reason why I love it.
Mm-hmm.
Next.
Oh, one last thing. I see you use this to bait enemy heroes into chasing you, and then you man fight them within the minion wave, and it is super effective because those ranged minions are doing like what 150 damage per archer, and there's like maybe 6, sometimes 9 of them. Goodness me.
Yes. Yes, that's really, really, yes, yes, that is true. That is what I do. So like whenever there's someone that's like an assassin that's coming towards me, like a tracer or a Zara or Illidan or like typical assassins that they
Mm-hmm.
think that they're just gonna 1v1 me real quick and go back into the team fights in
Mm-hmm.
another lane. Um, I always have in mind like if they're missing, I pay attention to where the minion waves are, and
Mm.
I will purposefully wait for them to show up and quickly clear out the enemy minions with my
Mm-hmm.
Banelands, and then that way our minions are just hyper focused on them because there's
So
nothing
true.
else to it. And all I have to do is stay within that little crowd, my little posse, and just
Mm-hmm.
like keep, like putting my basic attacks on them, drop down my hunter, drop
Mm-hmm.
down some pods, and we're good to go.
So smart. I like that a lot. And it feeds into something Zagara already does really well at, is dropping the creep and then dropping her summons and then just running around all frantically because she's kind of fast
Yep.
when she's on that creep. And it's easy to kite them around
Right.
and they do the damage for you and it's kind of tricky. Or you plant your feet down and you maul on them on those paperweights and they just die.
Yeah, I think the play style with Zagara is to not I guess because there are different types of play styles. You have ones where you want to be the direct damage versus using minions around you to be your damage
Mm-hmm.
dealers. It's a different way of thinking where
Mm-hmm.
if you're the direct damage, then all you have to focus is point and click and make sure that you land your shots, right?
Mm-hmm.
Versus you have to manipulate the area around you to get your minions to do what you want them to do. It's a
Mm-hmm.
different play style. Um, because you have to be aware of what's around you, what can you drop down, and where are you going to go after you finish doing all of this. And this is also why I love using slow veins because usually when like say Illidan comes in and he thinks that he's hot stuff and he's just gonna kill me really fast and move on, um, he finds out about a second in he's not winning this trade.
Mm-hmm.
And then he's like, oh crap, let me run away.
But
Slow
it's too
vein,
late.
slow him. Yeah, it's because now I just slow him down while he's trying to run away, and I'm already on creep, so I have farther range and
Mm-hmm.
I have movement speed. Like he's not getting away anymore at this point. It's too late.
Mm-hmm. Very true. That manipulation of the minions is also a very important factor because we can talk about this, but if you completely gloss over the fact that the minions focus other minions or structures, you have to make sure the infest is working for you when you're in transit, like when the minions are marching, or that you focus on destroying the rest of the minion wave with the banelings so that they can come back and focus on the enemy heroes.
Exactly.
Very easy thing to overlook.
Yeah, you got to think about how the minions are programmed to be. Like they're going to attack whatever they're still attacking,
Mm-hmm.
and then they'll focus on the humans I mean the enemies that we're playing against. But
Mm-hmm.
like if it's still in the middle of attacking a tower or whatnot, like it's not going to change its target.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to finish that off. And so sometimes that's what I do is to just kind of bait it where they think, oh, well, we have a full minion wave and she has a full minion wave, but the minions are going to be attacking the other minions. I go in the middle of the enemy minion wave. I empty my chamber of Banelands. They're
Mm-hmm.
almost dead. Drop a pod, and it's done.
Mm-hmm.
Now
Very smart.
there's my pod, my hunter, all the minions, myself attacking this one person.
Mm-hmm.
It's over.
And then it's lights out. I like it. I
Yep.
love it. That's the Infest playstyle. Very cool. I think
Yep.
that's all there is to talk about the level 1 talents. Any finishing thoughts about any of the ones we discussed so far?
No, that's it pretty much.
Fair enough. Moving on to level 4. This time we have various colors on how to improve Zagara's basic attack, which is pretty interesting. Starting with Envenomed Spines. Empower Zagara's next attack to deal a bonus 230 poison damage over 5 seconds. It's free to cast. There's a 30-second cooldown. You activate it. It primes your next click. And if you click, ideally you want to click a hero or a structure, and then it's going to deal a lot more damage. I almost never see you pick Envenomed Spines, and I'm pretty sure I know what the reason is, but do elaborate for me.
Um, it has a 30-second cooldown. Like, this
Mm-hmm.
thing is not useful for 30 seconds.
Yeah, so true.
So,
That,
no, I don't grab it. I think the only reason to grab it would be, um, actually, no, I don't, because even if it were to just kind of like get a last hit on someone before they run away, and yes, it could have killed them, but for 30 seconds, like,
mm-hmm.
that's just
The cool,
230 damage
yeah,
is not
it's not enough. The cooldown to damage ratio is
enough.
really, really bad. And it plays into a playstyle Zagara where you double down on the fact that she's a big lane bully and that she wins lane even harder using this talent. But in reality speaking, I know you are such a master at her. You don't need this to win the lane harder. You already know how to win the lane against every matchup. So really, you want to double dip into other types of value. And besides, it helps more when you're like mainline damage Zagara and your team fighting more often, and you have to play into this playstyle of helping the team focus down a target really quickly when they initiate the enemy team. But honestly, I think Zagara's really bad at that job regardless, so it's better left into your teammate's role rather than using a talent to maybe shore up a little bit. And even then, it's kind of bad.
Yeah, I think the only way that I would get this is if I was maybe just doing like a one-on-one fight, like
Hmm.
literally the whole map. It's just a 1v1
Yeah.
fight.
What about
That
like
would be the only
Braxis? What about
get it.
Braxis Outpost? Would you use this
No,
on? Oh, I see. Hmm.
no, I don't use it. I wouldn't
Mm.
use it because most of the time, this thing, it doesn't really do much because again, it's over time, so people still have time to like have a Brightwing, you know,
Mm.
teleport on them and they're still fine, or they're able to run back to Fountain and be able to
Absolutely.
heal before it takes the last damage. Like there are
Mm.
just so many things that can change the outcome. There are too many variables with this one.
Hmm.
And for a 30-second cooldown, the payoff is just not that great for me. Because for 230 damage, it's not enough damage because my Balins can do that much damage
Hmm.
with like what, a
3.
4-second cooldown. Like
Yeah.
no,
So basically. Hmm.
yeah, it doesn't pay off for me. For me,
Absolutely. I like it. I kind of agree with the statement. I think it's a little bit better, but than what you think. But I still think it's not conducive to Zagara's playstyle and the way she. Because if you're fighting minions all game long, you don't need Envenom Spines. It's not going to do you anything. Like who cares if you put it onto a minion? Maybe a structure, but honestly, it's much better if you go down the route of Medusa Blades instead, which is what we're going to talk about now. Basic attacks deal 33% damage to 3 nearby targets. So essentially, you got 2 right clicks worth of damage being put out, and the second half is distributed evenly amongst the 3 nearby targets. Tell me, is this your favorite talent of the tier? Because I see it all the time.
uh, the funny thing is that it's not my favorite. It's not
Ooh.
my favorite. My favorite is Serrated Spines because I love getting stacks,
Oh, no
but
doubt.
I know most useful is Medusa Blades, and that's
Mm-hmm.
why I grab it because it
Mm-hmm.
is better.
It's the boring but gets the job done kind of talent.
Yes, exactly.
Oh man. I do agree. It's very boring, but it really helps optimize Zagara do something she wants to be doing all game long, and that is hitting everything. And her right clicks do decent damage too. So being able to say you bring down the minion to low health and then you can swap targets, it's a tiny optimization that shaves you maybe 1, 2, 3 attacks less on top of the damage you're already doing to the rest of the wave. So Really, it helps her do everything on the map much easier. It does nothing in team fights, but Zagara is not really meant to team fight. She's meant to clear waves quickly, and this lets her do her job better. So I think it's good.
Actually, you know what? There is something that I do with it every
Hmm.
once in a while, and it has gotten me a kill. Is when there's a team fight and there's someone that's kind of like on their way out. If you attack a teammate that's close enough to them,
Hmm.
that little off blade will
Ooh.
actually travel over to them. And I have killed a few by doing that.
I love that. I did something similar with Ragnar's Q, though it's a lot more efficient because it does a good chunk of 300 damage versus maybe
Yeah,
Zagara's rounding error of 40 damage to kill a random Anduin.
yeah. Like they have enough low for that to work, and it's very rare to happen. But
Yeah.
when it does, then it's very hilarious.
Oh, yeah. You're inflicting moral damage to them, so
Yeah,
it does more to the soul than what it actually does. Oh my god.
yeah.
I love that. But yeah, just a simple performance booster for Zagara. Not bad. Let's talk about Zelia's favorite talent of the tier, Serrated Spines. It's a quest. It is Artanis' quest, but twice as good, but put at level 4 rather than level 1. So you get twice the payoff, but less time to take advantage of it. Each basic attack increases Zagara's auto attack damage by 0.2%, and this stacks infinitely. Thoughts?
Yes, it's sad, but it is my favorite. I love getting it when I can. And when I do get it, it's usually versus a team that I really am not threatened by. I know
Mm-hmm.
that we would probably win even if I was blindfolded. So yeah, in those team fights when the enemy are just, I don't know, they're just oblivious to,
Mm-hmm.
just taking back shots all day. Yeah, serrated spines is
Mm-hmm.
really fun because you just get to like pew pew
Pew,
pew, and you
pew.
you just stacking up that damage for free, and
Exactly.
it's really nice to pair up with um level 16, the jagged barbs, where you can get
Mm-hmm.
extra damage
Mm-hmm.
on your basic attacks. So like if
Mm-hmm.
you get a good amount of stacks, like say like 200 stacks on there
Mm-hmm.
or so, which it is easy to get if you have the right laner. Like if you have a tank that's in your solo lane, like this is really fun to get because you will have like 150 stacks easily, no
Mm-hmm.
problem. And you'll be able to do like I think like almost 400 damage per shot, or over 400 damage per basic attack.
Yeah. Like game when Zagara has 6.6 range baseline, that's really
Yeah.
useful to apply it onto the enemy team. Actually, this is a good opportunity to talk. How much do you like Zagara in the four-man versus the off lane? Because I think Zagara does real good work when she's, at the start of the game with the team and supporting the squad. And then you get an opportunity to use serrated spines in a safe environment, plus a more target-rich environment. You'll be able to attack the tank, whoever steps forward, and then you won't be as punished.
Oh, I love playing her in a four man. The thing is, whenever I am part of the four man, whoever's the fifth that's
Mm-hmm.
supposed to take care of lanes don't do it as good as I do, and then I get
Mm.
annoyed.
Totally.
So
It's
then,
yeah, Zagara typically fills the role of offlaner to begin with, and it really sabotages the team's draft if there's two offlaners in the team. Unless it's a
yeah,
specific strategy that you're going after, like you really feel like the extra macro advantage is going to be backbreaking for the enemy team.
yeah, it depends on who's on the team. Like if the other person that's doing off lane does a really good job, I can focus on doing my foreman. And in a foreman rotation, Zagara does a lot of damage. Really, really
Yeah,
good damage. She
I
does
agree.
top damage. Usually when I played with randoms, I would be in the foreman and I would always have top damage.
Hmm.
Um, but that means that the offlaner has to be doing their job. And
Hmm?
usually they don't. I don't know
Yeah.
why, but I don't really see good offlaners.
It's a tough role because you have to be super selfless in that you're a macro machine, and it's kind of boring work. You find minions, you gotta fight them, and you do this for the rest of the game. And then the rest of the team is having fun, fighting the enemy team. That is much more engaging. So they feel kind of bad. Okay, let me take a break. Let me go help the team, contribute positively, and then you fall behind from that point on. So you gotta stay super focused on that kind of job. For example, I do really good in the offlane role, both as a ranged DPS or flex or bruiser role. When I play Ragnaros or even Jaina, to be honest, I still do a lot offlane with Jaina. I feel very comfortable leaving Zagara in either the 4-man or the flex third lane off to on like a really big map, say Altaric Pass. And I feel comfortable knowing, hey, I can take care of all the waves. You won't have to worry about that. And we have a very strong laner, and this can usually get you like a early game fort because Zagara is not only good at outputting hero damage, she's really dangerous shoving into a fort.
Oh yeah, um, let's just backtrack a little bit to level one.
Uh
The
huh.
difference between getting corpse feeders and infest is like day and night in the
Mm-hmm.
first 30 seconds of the match. So
True.
what I notice is that when I get corpse feeders and, like you guys are doing your team fight and everything in mid lane and no one's in my lane, I can take out a good chunk of the tower.
Mm-hmm.
But with Infest, I can take out a tower with every wave of minions that I get. So with just
Ooh.
one wave of minions with Infest, one tower is guaranteed to be
Mm-hmm.
down.
That's really important
With
to
Corp,
know.
that does not happen.
Mm-hmm.
It does
Gotcha.
not happen.
Considering that, some people might look at the two talents and they seem kind of similar. Which performs better, sieging wise, because Corpse Feeders has their perks and Infest has their perks. I think that really goes to show how much stronger Infest is compared to Corpse Feeders. It is much more decisive at taking down the towers and actually ending them.
Yeah, it depends on what you want to do. Like, if you want to get the upper hand in your lane early off, then Infest is the way to go. If you want to plan for the future and you want to be part of team fights more often, then Corpse Feeders is the way to go.
Very good way of giving the new player a branching path here. Is this what you have to focus on later on, or is this how you're going to win the game? I like that. Perfect. Returning to serrated spines. Personally, I don't think it's that good of a talent, mostly because it comes kind of late, and Zagara also is too busy doing things on the map. There's honestly too much for her to do, and she doesn't have enough time to do everything she wants to do. So finding
Oh,
finding enemies
it's
to
not
attack,
at all. It's
hmm,
my favorite, but it's not a good talent at all.
that's fair.
It's my favorite as I am a troll, but
I think, the fun factor of talents is a really big deal of the game, and people just play Nazil. People just play Asmodee. They might be bad heroes, but shit, man, a good quest, oof, nothing is as fun as that.
hmm.
I respect it.
I should rework the serrated spines quest and increase the damage that you get per attack by maybe 0.3%.
Maybe. Maybe there's like it's kind of hard to judge it because the number is so small, and increasing it just a little bit, multiplied by the stacks, makes it kind of dangerous. Maybe it needs a mythic quest, and then we put this on level 1 somehow. Oof,
Yeah, I
no.
think if level one,
Yeah, there's a reason why Artanis's quest is good
be
and
on level
Zagara's not
one.
so much. it being on level 1 is definitely a big part of why that's the case.
Yeah.
Hard to say. But either way, to summarize, in Venom Spines, if you're somehow losing lane as Zagara and you need to win it even harder and you feel like that's what's going to win you the game, feel free. Otherwise, Medusa Blades for a more traditional Zagara playstyle where you're shoving down minion waves, mercenaries, forts, whatever. The continuous application and extra damage you get from this is going to be in effect throughout the whole game. And Serrated Spines, if you feel like you get a good opportunity where the enemy laner is continuously in range of you, like you can actually take advantage of them a little bit, or you're a part of the four-man, and you feel like macro is not as big of a priority, and maybe team fighting is going to be a bigger thing later on.
Exactly.
I love that. Awesome. That's the level 4 talents. Let's go into level 7. Baneling Massacre. Gain 2 additional charges of Baneling Barrage, but increase its cooldown by 2 seconds. For reference, Baneling's baseline has 2 charges. So when you get Baneling Massacre, you're doubling the amount of Banelings you're tossing out. And each charge is considered to be 2 Banelings. So 2 extra charges, 4 extra Banelings. And finally, charge cooldown baseline is 4 seconds. So when you pick this up, it is a 6 cooldown now when you get a charge of 2 Banelings. This is your favorite, and I have to say, I've really come around to really respecting the power of Baneling Massacre. I thought it was kind of trolly because it feels bad picking a talent with a malice, I'm not gonna lie, but it goes to show you how strong it was that they had to add it.
Oh, I think you cut out.
Ooh, I'm sorry. It feels bad having a malice added to a talent. It's very rare, but it goes to show like how strong it is that Blizzard felt the need to nerf it a little bit. How do you feel about Baneling Massacre?
I love Baneland Massacre. It's not my favorite, but it is high up there. This is what I would grab if we have really good CC and like I just need to empty out the entire chamber and just like chunk down a bunch of damage. Or I also use it to steal camps really fast.
True. Ah, that's a good way of putting it. I like that.
Yeah. Like
Considering
when you're no good and you're infiltrating the enemy's area, you don't want to stay there long.
absolutely. Yeah, I feel if I'm Jaina, I feel much more audacious with the camps I choose to take because I know I have the clear speed to take it in time before I get punished. A really good way of putting it.
Exactly. So the difference with getting Baneland Massacre and just like having standard Banelands would be the difference in how fast you'd be able to get the siege camp and the what's the name of the other one?
Bruiser camp?
The bruiser camp.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So with siege camp, you can get that easily with regular Banes. You would pretty much get it like double time faster if you had the Baneland Massacre. But with the Bruiser camp, if you had regular Banes, like you definitely are gonna struggle a little bit, and you definitely want to have corpse feeders for that. But if you didn't get corpse feeders and you grabbed Infest, then Baneland Massacre is definitely going to help in taking that camp out way faster so that you don't risk dying
Got
trying to
you.
get it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I've noticed
So it's kind of
that.
like you pick and choose like where you're gonna sacrifice and where you're gonna make up that sacrifice. So like
Absolutely.
say that you corpse feeders, you get a tank
Mm-hmm.
to basically, tank all the damage in your camp. You don't need to take it out as fast as possible because you have cooldowns on the camp. You have cooldowns on your corpse feeders, so the camp isn't really going to be attacking you. So you can take your time taking it out. But if you want to infiltrate the enemy and you want to be able to just grab that fast and run, Baneland Massacre is the way to go.
Absolutely. I love that.
And,
I
and
see the
paired.
talents, it having more charges, but increasing the cooldown. uh, it's very obvious where they're going with it. This is a way of front loading the power and giving you as much damage up front, but making you suffer a little bit in that you have to wait longer for continuous and sustained damage. So it helps a lot when the faster you clear that camp, the less damage you take. And the less damage you take means, you're healthier and you could do something else, which is very important. Very good way of explaining the bruiser camp situation.
Yeah, and it's faster to be able to move around and do what you need to do because you don't have
Hmm.
to stay in the Nidoswarm as long to be able to, regain back your health and your mana and stuff. You can
Hmm.
just pop in and move back out again.
Totally.
Um, Instead of like having to stay in there for a while.
That's the paradox of the talent. Actually, you do it so quickly, you don't even have to worry about the additional charges afterwards, the cooldown, because you just did what you had to do, so you can move on to do other things, which is really good.
Exactly.
And because of that, like even though I kind of look at it, I never thought about it that way. I could subconsciously feel when you pick up the talents, this is what happens to the game state, and also a whole line of banelings, dude, that's a lot of damage. Two additional
Yes.
charges doesn't seem like much, but that is 4 banelings, and that is 320 damage from one talent. And we haven't yet gone
Yep.
to the other talents yet, but this is the only talent that gives you raw damage in one form. And when you have CC from the team to lock down an enemy that the banelings can connect, ooh, yeah, that hurts.
Hmm. I love it.
I love it. She's loving it. Also, synergy with Devouring Maw, because with Devouring Maw, you can set up your own CC and then the banelings come flying in. Very effective.
Exactly. Yes.
I like it. So because of this talk, I've now have a lot more respect for Baneling Massacre. I like it. I have to say, as a Jaina player, you know me. I know that I love that 25% slowing. So slow Banes, the viscous acid, Baneling slow enemies by 25% slow for 2.5 seconds. I think this is definitely a sleeper pick because everybody's so focused on Bile Drop, they kind of forget that there's actually gold here, and viscous acid is one of them. With Zagara, she already has ways of amplifying the speed of her summons. Her big problem is she has no good upfront burst damage, so she needs time to wear down and kill an opponent. And slowing down the enemy while you have your own speed gives you that opportunity to wail on them. And it's really important because if Zagara's moving at 120% speed and the enemy's moving at 75% speed, that is a 50% speed difference. And it is very oppressive. Thoughts?
Yes. So this is my favorite. Um, Even though I know there are people that don't agree with me on this and thinks that it's useless, but I think the slow banes are so fun and so useful.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I love using it for getting away or chasing. Um, and that's personally or with the team fight. Like if I am not able to kill someone, at least I can still slow them from getting away and like say my husband's able to just like dash in and still
Mm-hmm.
get them anyways.
Oh yeah,
Just that little bit of extra slow, it makes a difference.
absolutely. Mm.
Even though I know it's not my job to be CCing people, it's still nice to have like an extra little perk. And sometimes I feel like because people are so used to Zagaras getting bile drop, they don't expect that taking a Baneland to the face is going to affect them as
Mm-hmm.
much. And then all of a sudden they're slowed and they're like, what the hell?
Mm-hmm.
Now they realize that they're in a really bad position now. And then they start
Yeah,
panicking. Um,
very
yeah,
subtle.
yes, it's creepy. It's creepy because like it
Haha,
gets
creep.
you, yeah, you least expect it. And that's kind of like an element of surprise for me, which is really, really fun. Um, and I love using it with Ma as well because like in the Ma, like the Ma does do damage, but it's hardly ever enough to really kill someone.
Of
If
course.
they Yeah, like if they were already full health, they're not dying. Um And say that if I were to empty out an entire chamber of Baneland with Baneland Massacre, they still probably wouldn't have died anyways. At least with the slow Banes, like it gives everyone an opportunity to still get them. Like they
Hmm.
wouldn't be able to escape still as fast. Not unless they're like maybe Genji or Hanzo that they can just dash over a wall or something. But
Hmm.
if it's someone that they have to run on foot, like they're still gonna be screwed either way once they get out the maw.
Totally agreed. As a Jaina player, I sponsor this message. 25% slows is the bee's knees.
Yes.
I love Visuous Acid. It is so good, and being able to provide utility and CC to your team so they can do their job is a sometimes an underrated thing. A lot of people are like, "Oh, I want more numbers," but you also need to remember that the rest of your team can provide those numbers to begin with, and you may see the enemy being slowed, and it's not that much. But for a teammate that has no access to CC, seeing a tiny slow get applied is really strong. I'm playing Gray Main, and I can feel exactly when an enemy is slowed, and it feels so good at punishing them thereafter. And this
Yes,
kind of.
exactly.
Hmm.
Here's a scenario that I love doing with you when you play Jaina. Is that whenever you use your that blizzard,
Hmm.
I love throwing those extra banes in the middle of that because it keeps them in that circle for longer so that they take all three hits.
Yeah, yeah.
And I also love using it when they're running towards their gate and they think that they're safe behind the gate because the splash damage of Banes are so large.
Hmm.
You know, I noticed like if I still throw my Banes and hit the gate, it still
Hmm.
splashes towards them. So they still get slowed behind the gate. And then we have Genji that's still able to go at them right at the gate and get back out.
Hmm. Totally. I love
Hmm.
that. Another thing, what was I about to say? Oh God, I lost my train of thought. What's about God? Oh, slow. Yes. So slows like frequent and like how should I say this? Like frequent, non like almost trivial amounts of slows, like through sources of Arthas or Jaina, Kel'Thuzad sometimes. These type of heroes provide a lot of natural slowing, and you don't really have to put any effort. It's just something they exude, and it gets applied to any team. I feel like layering that extra slowing glues together the rest of the team very effectively because when the enemies are slowed, it's easier to hit them with harder to land skill shots that provide stunning or sleeping or some other form of crowd control because they're usually the stronger effects are applied to skill shots. Just giving them a tiny slow makes them so much easier to connect with, and it makes the rest of the CC more effective. And then the stuns themselves get more effective when there's a slow to follow up. So I feel like slowing an easy axis of slow, in this case Zagara gets it through her banelings, which come up all the time, is super effective at enabling the rest of the team to do their job easier. It
Exactly. Like
compounds.
slow Banes is more of a team kind of talent versus the massacre and the bile drop.
Hmm.
Because if you're playing Zagara as like a I mean, I know it's gonna sound mean, but if you're playing it in a selfish way where the focus is me, like
Hmm.
I want to be able to do damage, I want to be the hero, I want to be MVP, then yes, you're gonna go Baneland Massacre, you're gonna go Bile Drop. But
Hmm.
if you are a team player, which this is how I like to do things, like I play Zagara in a supportive way instead
Hmm.
of being like all self-centered and being like, oh, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that, even though that is what I do. But I love grabbing Banes because when we have someone that grabs stitches or KTZ or, someone that they do need to be able to hit someone from a range,
Hmm.
having slow Banes always on hand that is range. It's not like Arthas is slow where like it's
Hmm.
only just around him. I can
Yes.
shoot a out in a ranged area, slow someone down, Stitches has an easier chance of hooking them.
Mm-hmm.
KTZ has an easier chance of hooking them. Like it helps the team to be able to get easy picks safer.
Mm-hmm.
And why not?
Totally agreed. You got that sustained value, whereas Bailey Massacre gives you everything up front, and it's really good at the start of the fight. If you're in these like super long skirmishes where they last an eon and a half, the slow Banes really come out on top, both in terms of damage output as well as slowing.
Yes.
I
I
like
love
it.
the benefits from things.
I totally concur. Slow Banes is definitely something you should be picking up to see. Even if you feel like it's not really necessary, give it a whirl, see how it plays for you. Because it looks so small, but in practice, it's so much more, and it's really hard to quantify how much more because it's kind of invisible when you look at it, but you can always feel it.
Yes, but also, like, say for example, you don't have a team that, that can do follow-ups and stuff. If you have someone that's going against you that is like really, dashy dashy poo poo and stuff,
Mm-hmm.
like having some slow banes can help you out a little bit. Like if you position safe enough, like you're closer to the gate and stuff, it can make the difference between whether or not you die.
Mm-hmm. Totally, I agree with it. Give you like you can backpedal, toss a Baneling out, let the rest of your summons deal with them.
Mhm.
Also, a very effective. It increases the damage of your summons through that manner by slowing them as well. Important thing to note. Oh, one last thing. It's also important to keep in mind if you're going to be picking up this frequent applier of a weak slow, you also need to keep one eye on the type of heroes you have on your team. Because we talk about how valuable Jaina and Arthas is. If those heroes are present with Zagara, it's best you probably stay away from Viscous Acid because there's already a form of slowing. Slows do not stack. Only the strongest gets applied. So if there's already a player providing a 25% slow, it's probably better for them to, keep doing that, and you just grab up one of the other useful talents, and they work perfectly fine for Zagara as well. Hello.
Yes.
Yeah, and that's all I have to say about Viscous Acid. Any last thoughts?
Um, no.
Awesome. Bile drop time. So, every Zagara and their mother is after this third roachling, this mystical roachling. And you slave away the whole game on a quest that gets unlocked at level 7, and you hit 12 godforsaken heroes with your E to get one extra roasting. Which, granted, it is pretty decent, but I mean, let's look at this talent. First off, its existence means your pod is 20% wider, and maybe you clip an enemy hero with that splash damage. And then there's this quest where if you hit them 12 times, you spawn the additional roasting. Now, quest completion, obviously, it's very strong. But until then, this is a dead talent. It provides you no value. And you have to constantly be interacting with the enemy team in order to get potentials for quest progress. Even then, it's still very difficult to stack up. You have to play with the team, and you have to wait for your tank to do stuff. And hopefully, if they're doing a good job, you'll find opportunities to do it. But man, it's really difficult. And until then, it's a trap. You're playing for late game value. And if the team is suffering right now, I feel like Bile Drop is kind of a it's going to hold you back. Do you agree?
Yeah, I do. I know that many, many, many players swear by Bile Drop, and for good reason, because if
Mm-hmm.
you are good at landing these pods, then yeah, go for it.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but if you're like me and you're awful with aiming, then, you know,
Nah, don't try
good luck. Good
it.
luck.
Yeah.
You can try it. You can try anything, but good luck.
Yeah. It's almost like a mythic quest, but the reward isn't as OP, and there's no milestones in between.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, yeah.
If Bile Drop's quest was added to Corpse Feeders at level 1, I think it'd be much better, because in the laning phase, there actually is opportunities to hit them a few times, and then you'll swing in with the rest of the team at some under point, and it'd be fine. But yeah, it's really rough. Level 7 is a crucial. Not a lot of people recognize this. I think the professional players do because they intentionally stall the first objective until they reach level 7. Level 7 is actually the first, for many heroes, the first big power spike. It's almost like a level 16, but at level 7 instead, because any damage hero, they're going to get more damage at this tier. Li Ming gets her Calamity, which is plus 300 damage. Falstad doubles his damage. Zeratul gets more mobility. The tank gets more initiation and slowing. The healer gets more healing, raw. Zagara here, like she has Baneling Massacre, which is doubling the damage your Banelings are doing, and Viscous Acid, which tremendously increases her value. Level 7 is a very important tier for a lot of heroes to get substantially more powerful in terms of fighting the enemy team, or doing their job, really. And if you pick up Bile Drop, you are sacrificing your level 7 power spike for something that gives you nothing until level 16. Hopefully. Sometimes you don't even finish the quest throughout the whole game, which is very embarrassing. It really goes to show how stacked against Bile Drop it is.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but
I feel bad I have positives on the bubble drop. I mean,
yeah,
it's it's good if you know how to use it. Clearly, I
yes.
don't know how to use it that well because to me, I feel like having double damage, especially with a Nidus Worm where you have that on crazy cooldown, you're always able to throw out a Baneling.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it just doesn't make up for having an increased radius on infested
Oh
drop.
no, it does
To me.
nothing. I mean, let's look at that. Oh, hey, you hit them with the drop pod. That's 140 damage. Literally one right click.
Oh gosh.
Level 7 do nothing.
Yeah, pretty much. Like you gotta wait until like,
Mm,
you get those 12, heroes. And I mean, I feel like it's so unfair
yeah.
that like you get 4 to 5 business days notice before that thing
Hmm.
drops.
Exactly. I
So
think.
it's like
Yeah. Actually, I
talking
need to,
about
I need to test this with you. We gotta do a 4-man Zagara playstyle, and then we need to include Bile Drop, and then we need to. The thing is, a lot of people like look at hard to land abilities, but in reality, it's not. It's meant to be hard for you to land it raw in neutral form. Instead, what you really need to be doing is you need to be paying attention to what the tank on your team is doing, and then dropping
ex-
the pod exactly where they plan to stun an enemy. In fact, you probably want to wait for them to start the stun, and then you drop it after, and then usually it connects. You need to play very closely with your tank, and if they're competent, you're gonna have a good time. But if they're not competent and you don't trust them and they're not playing well, you're not going to be able to stack it with them, which is another malice towards this.
oh, you know what? In a 4-man, um Bile Drop is good
Yeah, I agree.
because even without CC, if you see where the enemy's tanks are going, just drop it on them because they usually
For real.
don't care.
Yes.
They really care. So I just drop it on the tanks in the middle of the fight.
Hmm.
Or sometimes I drop it on the healer because they think that they're safe. You know,
True.
um
The
so
healer is usually very preoccupied with their focus. They're worried about the enemies and they're worried about their teammates, and they usually don't pay attention to their own feet. So healer is a very good target. I like that.
exactly. And so like in the middle of all of that, yes, you can get your bile drop quest done. Um but I feel as though like unless the entire team is super tanky and stuff like that, bile drop, even with the extra Rochling, it does not pay off as well as having an escape with slow banes or a
Hmm.
chase opportunity with slow banes
Hmm.
or being able to quickly do a lot of damage with Baneling Massacre. I just feel as though like Bile Drop doesn't do enough compared to the other two.
I totally agree. I think we probably need to get ahead of ourselves a little bit and talk about the percentage HP damage at 16, because that is the only thing this quest is good for. Is you have beefy Maximus the third, like terms of frontline on the enemy team, and you are the team's only source of percentage HP damage, then I think this has to go with it to make that game plan work better.
Yes, and it would have to be against a tank that doesn't have really good um regen like Chen, because this whole
Mm-hmm.
thing does not work against a good Chen.
Absolutely. Screw you, Chen.
But
We
like
hate you.
I know we hate Chen. Um, but like versus like a Blaze or a Muradin or like one of those other regular tanks that don't have bullcrap in
Yeah.
their build, like this is pretty good.
Mm-hmm. Agreed. Well, I think that's all the ideas we had about Bile Drop. I think we slandered it to oblivion by now. All in all, level 7 is a very good opportunity for Zagara. Even though her talents are a little bit unorthodox, they still provide her value in the ways she wants to play. Do you want to specialize more in towards acting as frontline burst damage, or do you also want to act as better macro in terms of Baneling Massacre? Viscous Acid is better if you're planning to do sustain and more team synergy and support, where slowing the enemy team is actually a really big boon for your teammates. Because some heroes do crit enemies that are slowed. I know that Greymane has a talent that increases his damage against little targets. So by you picking this up, you are actually increasing the damage of the rest of your team. Plus, it increases the damage of your summons, because they're very constrained by the fact that the enemies run away from them, and that limits their damage. Slowing them prevents that. And then lastly, Bile Drop is exclusively a level 16 primer, where you're looking to increase your percentage HP damage down the road. But even then, it's kind of hard to say whether that's really worth it, or do you keep the tank stuck in the mud with extra slowing?
Yeah,
Hmm.
exactly.
I love it.
I like to summarize this stuff.
Yes. You do a very good job of explaining these things I've never even thought about, and it's opening my mind. So I'm like, oh shit, now I see the point of it. I see the purpose.
Oh, thank you.
Yes. Just throwing that out there. You are an amazing co-host, and I'm really glad I'm doing this with you.
Aw, thank you.
Yes, a pleasure to be a guest to the expert here. Now, level 10. We already talked about the use cases of why you use Devouring Maw and why you use Nidus Network. Let's talk about composition. Let's say you enter the game, and now it's time for you to decide. It's level 10. When do you pick Maw? When do you pick Nidus Network? If there is, a very high priority, because I know you pick Nidus like 99% of the time.
Yes, so I will pick Devouring Maw if, we have a butcher that is actually a threat.
Mm-hmm.
Or we have like no CC on our team at all for some
Mm-hmm.
reason. And I would be the only CC.
Yeah.
Or or if you just told me to grab it and I don't even understand it really why, but like I
Yeah.
trust you and I
Generally speaking, my idea, well, this is an outsider's point of view on Zagara's function in the game, telling you why you pick Maw, telling you why you do Nice Network. I've come to really trust in your ability at using the extra bonus stats you get from Nice Network. The extra mana, the extra health, the cooldown reduction, which translates into more damage, which translates into more percentage HP damage, which translates into slow banes and all that, as well as map presence. Nice Network gives you all that. Maw is the rare form of CC, and crucially, it's a team fight CC. You're not going to drop this on a single target. It's like it's not really going to be worthwhile. But you're banking
yeah.
on the hope that you catch multiple enemies. And Devouring Maw is such an oppressive mid-team fight ability. If you land it on like a problematic target, or say you just want to set somebody aside. Say it's a Deathwing. Well, actually, no. Deathwing is immune to this, so we can't talk about him. But say there's a very problematic support, like Anduin or I don't know, Ariel. Yeah, I guess Ariel. What
Yes, I
else?
was just going to mention her because sometimes in the middle of a team fight, you don't want her resurrecting someone or healing a
Yes.
bunch of people.
It
Yes,
is
you
top priority
gotta
to
lock
stop
them.
it. Mm-hmm. Yep, and Maw gives you a way of sidestepping. There's two ways you can use it. One, well, there's three ways because you showed me how to do a third way. But one, big catch. Like it, usually the best way Zagara does it is not by sheer initiation, but more like counter engaging, where the enemy team engages and you drop a massive maul on them as they're trying to support the front line that started the fight, and then you catch multiple enemies. And from that point on, the rest of the team repositions in a favorable place, and they drop all of their abilities exactly when the enemy pops out, and they blow up right away. It's very oppressive. Stopping somebody and then being ahead of them and getting your combo pieces set up for free is a really strong thing, and Devouring Maul lets you do that. So you're gonna have the most unwinnable game on the planet, but if you land one good Maul, you win the game. It's crazy. And two,
Yes.
the other thing we were talking about is isolating an enemy. Say, even though the good and bad thing about Maul is you make the enemy invulnerable, which is a bad thing. Obviously, you want a 4-second stun, but it's more like a 4-second timeout. But that timeout is still very valuable in that your team can focus on the rest of the enemy team with a 5v4 advantage. I really like Stitch's Gorge that Richard does. He just chooses to eat the tank, and then we're still fighting. We're not running away. Instead, we're just keeping the momentum, and it's really good because there's one less body on the ground, and we can usually score a pick before they come back out. And once again, it's a 5v4. If
Yes.
that makes sense, yeah.
And
So
another way that I use Maw is to kind of block away passages. Like I kind of use it
yes,
like I Nidus Network, but like a bigger version. It's like an
yeah.
ultra Bertha. Like it's really good in like those narrow pathways that we
Mm-hmm.
sometimes have,
Big time.
and like the enemy is like, okay, you know what, actually we're not winning this fight, let's backtrack. And then I will use Devour and Maw to block off completely that
Mm-hmm.
whole corridor,
I
and
like
they
that.
can't out of it.
And it's even better
And
than hitting them directly because they're actually out in the open and you can still hit them for the 4 seconds.
exactly, Ivan, exactly.
Hmm.
That is the plan.
I've learned this trick from playing Mei, and I realized, oh, you know what? The ice wall is actually a good wall. Let me use it so. And a four
Yep.
second wall is nothing to scoff at. That is literally a Tassadar wall times 2 in duration.
Yep. Yeah,
And the,
sometimes it's good to just use it to just block them, because that's one of the things that I don't like about Ma is that they're not targetable during that
hmm
time,
Yeah,
and it pisses me off sometimes, but I love it for using it as a blockage.
absolutely.
And
If I
sometimes people say like I'm just missing my ult, but it's like no, like we have three people here for the killing right now.
And let me tell you, I'm here as the Masters player telling you that I appreciate that fact and I see what you're doing there.
Thank you.
Hell yeah. So yeah, I recommend Maw in like circumstances. Usually it's combo piece. I not so interested in you like knocking another hero out because that 1 second windup is very brutal, and you catching a target of choice is near impossible. Much easier on say a Maiev Cage or a Muradin Punchback or something like that. They have a much easier time of applying their timeouts compared to the Zagara. But if I feel like the team has some combo piece, especially a Ragnar Smash, it's a guaranteed hit, and that's usually a kill right there and then.
Yep.
And that's basically why I picked Maw. Nice Network.
Yep.
We've talked extensively about its use case. It's useful for its primary purpose is split pushing and map control and map presence. Obviously, that's something Zagara is better at doing than most other heroes on the game. And two, more importantly, it gives you a lot more stats to actually perform the good damage that you can do. And it's very surprising to me because I'm like, Zagara does no damage. I'm kind of shocked that you're able to kill people, you know, It's kind of crazy. So I'm like, wow, it must be the nice network cooldown reduction. And then I'm looking at it. Zero point 0.4 is not a lot, but that is literally 40% because you attack once per second. Well, scratch that. 1.11 times per second. So it's actually more like a 41% cooldown reduction on everything. And you've got the resources to back it up too. So yeah, it's more numbers on Zagara.
Yep.
Totally. I don't think there needs to be any more elaboration there. Ma, if there's a very, synergistic combo your team has, or you're confident in your aiming, or you feel like the team fight is everything on the map, or Nidus Network for all other circumstances. And then I actually come to think about it. Jaina's water elemental performs a similar function to Nidus Network in that it lubricates her abilities, applying free frost to everybody, and then having something just deal extra damage matters so much, and it makes Jaina operate much better. And then Ring of Frost is the counterpart to Devouring Maw. Sometimes it just does nothing, and that's very problematic. And
Yeah.
and I feel like the consistency of the water elemental is what really shines. I can use it in every circumstance, in every fight, no matter where it is, and I come out ahead compared to a Jaina that picks up Ring of Frost. It's probably the exact same with Zagara, and probably more so because creep and cooldown reduction is continuous. And that's all I have to say.
Yeah. It I think it also depends on what your play style is.
Oh
I
yeah, that
think
big time, big time.
yeah, because I think if you want to be someone um that's like the one to set up fights, then yeah, Devour and Maw is the way to go. But if you want to have that flexibility of being able to macro and micro, then you want to do Nidus Network.
Mm-hmm.
But if you don't care about macro at all, then go for the
Mm-hmm.
Maw.
Absolutely. And here, this is our tip. Also try out Nidus Network. Even if you do want to do like pure team fighting, give it a whirl. See how it feels, in your hands when you have additional resources. And that's all
Oh
I have to
yeah,
say.
if throwing out Banes, you're gonna feel the difference when you have Nidus Network.
Yeah. Hell yeah. We'd love to see it. Okay, moving on from level 10, let's go on to level 13. Level 13 is the defensive tier for Zagara. We've got various ways that will protect her. First off, Hydralisk Transfusion. Zagara is healed for 60% of the damage dealt by Hunter Killer's basic attacks to heroes. So this gives you a 60% lifesteal on a pretty good damage source. Thoughts?
This is really nice. I love using this paired with my Mutalisk. It helps give me a good amount of sustain. Um, it's highly picked, but not my favorite. I
Mm-hmm.
actually prefer the protective coating, armor on creep, um, because this is just having 20 armor while you're on creep.
Mm-hmm.
And again, if you're using the Nidus as Big Bertha creep, then you get to have like 20 armor guaranteed around
Totally.
you.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Constantly in
it's
effect.
really, really nice. Yeah, but the Hydralisk transfusion is really good if you stack up multiple mutas, and I use this against Samuros or Illidan's,
Mm.
people that they they do like a lot of micro damage, but
Mm-hmm.
like if I have enough sustain to wait for them to finish doing all their stuff, then I can kill them.
Absolutely. Very good point of bringing that up. It's definitely a sustain-oriented kind of talent. Well, literally in the fact that it sustains your health, but it's more so if the fight lasts long enough that the Hydralisk is able to deal damage, so that you can reap back the investment of the talents. Whereas protective coating gives you that upfront armor, and it's always in effect. Buys you more time, so your summons deal more damage whilst you're skirting them around. And it goes to show Hydralisk Transfusion is also really, really, really good into highly beefy teams because your Mutalisk or Hydralisk, they have a high survival rates, and that feeds more value into the talent.
Yeah, but you know what? Actually, also, like it works really well together with the corrosive saliva as well. Like if you have like a good, like a nice enemy tank that just lets the Hydralisk like keep attacking them, like you just you get a good amount of health back too with each attack
Mm-hmm.
because they're also doing um percent
Ah,
damage. So,
very good
you
point.
know,
Did not realize it
yeah,
interacted like that.
yeah, it works well together like that too. So
Nice.
this is still like I would say Hydralisk transfusion and protective coating, they're both situational. Well, actually they're
Mm-hmm.
all situational. All three of these are
Mm-hmm.
situational. Um
It's a sign of a master to know when each talent is favored for every scenario.
yeah, but I would say like what kind of determines which one I'm going to get for me would be like if I'm going to be spending more time in team fights or if I'm going to be spending more time macroing because
Mm-hmm.
the armor on creep helps me with the camps versus the
Mm,
Hydralisk transfusion because
true.
this only works against heroes. It doesn't work against minions or camps or anything.
Absolutely. That's another thing to
So
keep in
like
mind. Oh, is this
if you
also
want to
like?
take
Ooh, I probably
then
shouldn't. I probably shouldn't mention this, but it probably helps you with taking boss, doesn't it?
yes, it does. I was going to say, if you want to take boss, then you definitely want to get the protective coating
Mm-hmm.
because that way, what you can do is while your roachlings are coming off of cooldown and you have to take those hits, this armor on
Mm-hmm.
creep is definitely going to help sustain you there
Mm-hmm.
until you have your cooldown on your roachling pod again.
Big time.
So you can keep like alternating the focus of the boss between the
Mm-hmm.
Rochlings and yourself so
Now
that the
that
Hydra can do what it needs to do.
Gotcha. Now that you mention this, in a recent patch, they updated Zagara summons that their duration is tied to their health bar. So this kind of forces a lot of summoners in the game to tank for their summons so that they can prolong their life to deal damage, which is kind of mixed results. I think it's probably for the worse because the duration is more or less the same, but they die much sooner. And you kind of have to take damage for yourself in order to prolong it as much as you can to get that extra duration. This armor does help in that regard, that you can tank freely and hopefully your summons do more damage from it.
Yes.
Mm-mm. How about Spell Shield? I know you don't really like Spell Shield, and I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that it's a generic talent. It's one of those outdated talents that well, there's a number of heroes that have their spell shields, but they're usually flavored to the hero in question. Thrall has the same one, but it's 70 spell armor, and he gets cooldown reduction with his trait. Lunara has the same thing, but it's 75 spell armor instead, greater spell shield. And then there is who was it? There's heroes like Karazim where they have spell shield, but it's basic, just like this one. There's nothing special to it. And then lastly, there's someone like Imperius who gets it at level 20, but he also gets unstoppable and 75 spell armor instead, which matters much, much more than a basic 50 spell armor. I assume you probably agree that it's not very good in. Well,
It's
I think it's better than it is, but it's tough to use because it's an active button.
like it does make a difference with like a Chromie combo or like a KTZ combo,
Hmm.
things like that. It would definitely help, but I just feel like it's like so specific, like it has to be for a specific scenario that
Yeah.
I don't like using it
It's really
as
tough for
often.
Zagara. Now that I think about it, the matchup spread of when she gets to use this is not favorable for her to begin with because Zagara's threats are not the magic damage users. It's an assassin like Illidan or Zeratul, and they are not exclusively spell damage. They feature a lot of physical damage, and Spell Shield does nothing against that. Plus,
Yeah,
into Kel'Thuzad, like you say, you can deny the chains by using a worm. And against Chromie, you're probably never going to be seeing a Chromie in your lane unless you go out to team fights, and you're probably not her primary target to begin with.
Exactly.
Yeah. I think Spell Shield, it needs to be reflavored into a more, uh, something non-magical, really. If it's physical armor, I think it would be really good, actually.
Yeah, but you get that with the creep.
True. I think, like,
So
the existence of a shock absorber is useful in specific scenarios. Zagara takes advantage the least because she also has a competing talent that kind of does the job a little bit better. And against these fringe assassins, the armor off creep, they're not killing you in 3 seconds, they're actually killing you over a period of 7 seconds, so the spell shield times out either way. And then the armor from
yeah,
protective coating keeps going.
yeah,
Mm,
I
totally
have
agree.
it.
It's a shame. It's just a outdated talent, that's all.
Yeah.
But, if you're fighting, I don't know, Lemmings, Chromies, like it's a full on long range battle, feel free to pick up Spell Shield if there's a combo. Because Zagara is very vulnerable to getting comboed on if they decide to do it on her. So having some security could be the difference between you living or dying. So pay close attention to how the enemy team is treating you.
Yeah, I would say like if they have it out for you and that's what you're dying from throughout the game, then yeah, grab the spell shield.
Hmm.
But if you're not facing that kind of issue, it doesn't make sense to grab it.
I agree. No divergent thoughts here. I think we're aligned here. So 13 is a more of a defensive tier for Zagara, as stated. Hydralisk Transfusion, if you're able to prolong the duration of your summons, if you plan on getting the percentage HP, and these very beefy kind of comps where the Hydralisk or Mutalisk is able to last a good duration, it does give her a lot of health back. Protective coating provides all-purpose usage. You're using it all throughout the game. Good against enemy structures, good against enemy mercenaries, good against divers that will follow you through the creep, and against chip damage as well. Granted, the sustain might be
Yep.
better, but chip damage is usually in the form of non-interactable long-range damage, and that's not something your Hydralisk will have an easy time of dealing with. Plus, it works well in the 4-man, and that's healing is twice as effective with armor. If you have a full health bar, you get full value from 20 armor, and then if you restore to full health, you're getting that value all over again. So keep in mind the healers on your team.
Yep.
Nothing more to say on 13. Let's go to 16. 16 is
All
a... Ooh, continue.
Uh, oh, 16 has so many yummy options. They are all
Uh-huh.
good.
Yes. First on the plate is going to be Corrosive Saliva. When attacking heroes, your Roachlings and Hunter Killers will be dealing 1.5% max HP damage every single hit. Pretty strong. This is what Zagara is known for.
Yes. And this is really good for like the tanks. It's also good for I mean, I could be wrong. I could be wrong. But I think the robot um that we get in whatever that
Volskaya?
map is, something right. Um, I think it does percent damage on that as
It
well.
does. There is a cap to it, but it still deals bonus damage.
Yeah, so because I noticed that I am able to take those things down pretty good when I grab um, corrosive
Mm-hmm.
saliva versus those kind of objectives. Like when I know that those kind of bosses are coming down, then I pretty much grab this for like a just in case we lose the objective, we're
Mm-hmm.
not screwed over completely
Big
kind
time.
of like I like to grab a lot of my talents actually for like just in case oh. So
Yeah.
like that's
I
what I
mean,
do. Like and I just learned how to use it in ways that still help me out, like in the middle of when it's not an uh-oh situation. But a lot of the talents that I grab are like just in case uh-oh.
mm-hmm.
Like Infest is really good for like it's like we are at our core and we don't have any more keeps
Mm-hmm.
because all the minions within range that comes out of the core are all gonna get that minion boost, like it's so much easier to defend
Mm-hmm.
when I have infest versus like using corpse feeders.
Mm-hmm.
So like whenever I know that there's a just in case O situation like late game, like we might lose everything, like this is my final stand chance by having
Yeah,
infest. Yeah.
big time.
And a lot of times definitely helped keep us alive. And we've turned matches around because of it.
I have seen it. Generally speaking, to talk about the philosophy of talents, that's kind of the point of them. You got your baseline hero, and then you can specialize or counter the enemy team as you see fit on the go with a variety of talents, both in composition as well as on a tier by tier basis. It's kind of one of the best parts about Heroes of the Storm because you're actively engaged with the exact scenario you are presented with and what is the best tool to deal with it.
Yep.
I love it. Uh, let's see. Generally speaking, I think it goes without saying, Corrosive Saliva is a tank killer. This is, I think, the best percentage HP damage source in the whole game. Maybe
Yeah.
Tychus rules it out, but the whole hero is built around that job. As a hero that gets it, this is definitely top in tier, like one of the best, because it's so easy to apply. It applies all the time, and there's so many instances of application. So it wraps up very quickly. Like you're dealing 4.5% each second, and that is oppressive.
Yep.
Plus, combo this with Nidus Network, where you have cooldown reduction on all of your abilities. You're slinging out more minions that deal percentage HP damage, and that is a big deal.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah. Is there ever a well, we just talked about like the big heroic objectives, like the Dragonite and the big robots that do take the bonus damage. Is there a circumstance where you want to pick this talent, but the enemy team does not have very beefy heroes? Is that a thing ever?
No.
Yeah, fair. Maybe if map permits it, but generally speaking, no. Because I've
No,
kind of
because the Mutalisk, it makes up for that.
big time. Let's talk about the Mutalisk now. Mutalisk. Reduce the cooldown of Hunter Killer by 0 seconds? That can't be right. This used to be a 4-second cooldown reduction. And yeah, you go from 16 to 12-second cooldown on your most reliable damage source, which is a pretty good deal. That's 25% uptime boost. Pretty good. And then furthermore, your Mutalisk evolves into, your Hydralisk evolves into a Mutalisk, which flies around and has a bouncing attack. Plus, their duration is
Yes.
multiplied by 7, which is crazy. And they
So
have more health.
the Mutalisk works extremely well with Nidus Network because you are able to get like 4 or 5 of them up
Mm-hmm.
at the same time. And when you get a level 20 talent of having the pack instinct, where your hunter killer deals 20% more damage to heroes, um, it's it's just chef's kiss,
It
honestly.
really is.
Like
Indeed.
it it does so much damage that like there are times where we have enemies that are super beefy and I'm still able to melt them with
Mm-hmm.
Mutalisks.
Yeah.
Uh,
I think it's
it's
important to remember that the Hunter Killer that was doing so much work at the start of the game, the stats are the same, except more duration, more health. So you bring that powerhouse into the late game in the form of a Mutalisk, which has an easier time of applying its damage at a safer range, at a safer flying altitude.
yes. And they also give vision in
Ah,
bushes and stuff
yes.
like
True.
so that's one thing that I really love is the vision over gates, over bushes, over
Mm-hmm.
walls, things like that.
Very important thing to know. I completely spaced out on the fact that it being flying does give you that benefit, which is awesome. And
Yeah.
Also, it is tenacious. Like this thing will target lock you in the fog of war and it doesn't let up. Like it's kind of crazy.
Yeah, I love that the Mutalisk, because it has vision in the bushes, enemies can't run in bushes to have the hunter killer just like go a different direction
Hmm.
anymore. Because that would be an issue before level 16, is that players are able to go in bushes and start dodging the hunter killers that way, because the hunter killer is like, oh, cannot see. Okay, let me go to lane then. But with the
Hmm.
Mutalisk, there's no hiding.
True. The Mutalisk does not lie.
Yeah.
Really cool part about Mutalisk is with Nidus Network, you can pop up in one lane, you drop your abilities, and you leave the Mutalisk, and it continues to push, which is
Yeah,
fucking god damn. That is OG as hell, gangsta real. And then
I
you pop
do
up.
love doing.
Yeah, they do love doing that. And then you pop up on the other side of the map, and you do the same thing on the other side, and now you got two lanes being pushed at a continuous rate.
Yeah, you can have one in every lane.
Mm-hmm. It's so good.
Yes, it's really nice.
I have to really appreciate you, Zelaya, for because I kind of look at Mulets and I'm like, oh, this is so cool. But I feel like I'm trolling the game if I don't pick up corrosive saliva. Otherwise, my teammates are going to be judging me. But thanks to you, you've shown the way that yeah, Mutalisk is truly it's not troll. It's actually good, and it's
Yes,
so useful. Like in obviously, it's so much better macro wise in so many dimensions I can't even explain to you. Like it's so much better at taking out bosses because you have like four hitting it at the same time. So much better at wave clearing, pushing waves, killing mercenaries. But it's also really good in team fights because it's just persistence. You drop it on the enemy
yes,
tank, it continues to chase them and stay around.
yes. Or one of my favorite is put in Mutalisks on the healers, because
Ooh, that's evil. I do the same thing with the water elemental.
who pays attention to the minion? So
Yeah.
some in the middle of a fight, like I will literally watch the healers just like taking those shots from
Oh
the
my
Mutalisk,
god.
and
Smokes,
I'm like,
man.
they don't realize it yet.
Mm-hmm. Never know until it's
And
too
yes,
late.
yes, exactly. By the time that they're about to die is when they start running, but the Mutalisk is chasing. Oh
Yes.
gosh, yeah. It's good stuff. Good stuff. Jagged Barbs. Now, Jagged Barbs is also like a really good one. It is situational. Again, it depends on how you want to play.
Hmm.
Because Jagged Barbs, okay, if you grab Infest at level 1, you grab Medusa Blades at level 4, you grab Baneland Massacre at level
Hmm.
7. You grab your Nidus Network at level 10.
Hmm.
You get your armor on creep at level 13. When you get Jagged Barbs, you are able to steal the entire map of camps within just like seconds.
Hmm. Gotcha.
Yes,
Mm-hmm.
you can take all the maps that you want. I mean, all the camps that you want. You can take boss, you can do whatever you want, and it will be really, really fast.
Hmm.
But you don't have any sustain. So that's kind of the cost. Like you do a lot more damage,
Hmm.
like doing your macro stuff, but you have less sustain. So like
Hmm.
this would be a build that I do when I'm feeling super cocky and cheeky
Hmm.
and I feel like no one's paying attention to me. Yeah, I will grab Jagged Barbs because the game's already over.
I
Yeah.
like it. I like it.
Yep.
Personally, I think Jagged Barbs, I feel like it's slightly underperforming. Now, the bonus attack range is really good, and the damage increase is good as well. I feel like you sacrifice so much in terms of the summoned value, whether it's through the Mutalisk or the Corrosive Saliva. I feel like Zagara herself is not where the strength lies, but more so in the fact that she has impactful summons. And the distribution of leaving it out of the hero and into the summons is a
Yeah.
pretty good factor in why she is decent, in especially into some comps, completely unstoppable. Like if you're a tank and Zagara picks up corrosive saliva, there's nothing you can do. You just need to take it on the chin, and hopefully you win the game somehow. Because you can't focus the Zagara. It's still
Yeah.
gonna be damaging you.
But there is also an extra benefit that you get
Hmm.
with jagged barbs
Tell
is
me.
that you get a 1.1 increase in your attack range.
Yeah, that's
So
good.
yeah, so when you're on the creep, like you get so many benefits off of it. Like
Hmm.
I think creep is such an important um talent, like not talent, it's such an important passive
Feature.
for Zagara
Hmm.
players. Like you have to pay attention to your creep. Like your creep gives you way more than you think.
Hmm. I don't pay attention to my creep, and that's why I suffer as Zagara.
Yeah, creep gives so many benefits. You can't go without it. You have
Hmm.
to have it. It's like cookies and cream. You have to have
Yeah,
it together.
big time. Oh, another factor. Since you need creep for jagged barbs, you don't need creep for the other level 16 talents, which is another important factoid to keep in mind. Say you're
Yes.
approaching the enemy territory where you did not have time to set up creep for whatever reason. Usually it's a dangerous thing. But those talents give you upfront value. You don't need them to operate. Whereas jagged barbs, you need to make sure you have creep. Otherwise, it's nothing.
Yes. So if you are not the kind of player that always has creep on cooldown, um, don't get jagged barbs. If you are the player which that is me, I always have my creep on cooldown. Like almost never have charges to my creep.
Hmm.
Um, if I
and that
die,
and that
if I
and that is the
come
winner
back,
strategy.
you should always be putting down creep wherever the hell you are at all
Hmm.
times. Um, you will get a good amount of benefit out of jagged barbs if you focus on putting your creep everywhere, especially with level 20. But we'll get into that later in level
Hmm.
20.
In my opinion, I think we're all done on 16 here. When would you pick what?
Okay, so level 20, obviously Tyrant Maw is
Ooh, one second, one
definitely
second.
like
I meant level 16 here. When would you pick each talent for level 16?
um level 16. So I would get corrosive saliva if we had like a good amount of frontline to melt through.
Hmm.
And that's if they have like really good sustain. Like say that they have like a Morales that's healing them, like
Hmm.
someone that's able to give them like a lot of sustained healing, then corrosive saliva is the way to go. But if
Yeah.
they don't have good sustain and they're just beefy, Mutalisk is the way to go. Or
Ah,
if
good
you
point.
want to focus more on the squishies, like the
Hmm.
healer, the Vala, like those kind of people in the back line, Mutalisk is definitely the way to go. Jagged Barbs is really good for like if they have a lot of lane pressure and you need to be able to clear out waves super fast and get back into team fights and
Hmm.
start just like doing your attacks, because even though I know it's only 50% more basic attack damage, you have further range on it,
Hmm.
and that also means that you're able to hit the back line a little
Hmm.
bit more. And if you have your Medusa blades spreading back there and you're hitting like the healer, chances are you're also hitting their damage dealers as well.
Hmm.
And you could just safely do that. And with slow banes, you're able to constantly poke at a safe distance. That,
Really good way of putting it. I like that.
yeah.
It's a very similar playstyle to what Lunara does. She has a range advantage and a mobility advantage and a slowing advantage over her enemies, so she can freely how should I say this? Prey on the enemy backline. It's very strong. It's a good feature of her.
Yeah, so this jagged barbs is what I would grab when I am in my, oh, I want to be an auto attack, you know,
Mm-hmm.
annoying person right now.
Mm-hmm.
Like, yeah, and I would definitely grab Infest. I would grab Medusa Blades or Serrated Spines if I'm in the 4-man rotation.
Mm-hmm.
I'd grab my Slow Banes. I would grab Nidus. I would grab Armor on Creep, and I would get the Jagged Barbs. And I can just keep like throwing spines at people
Mm-hmm.
all day long.
One, I kind of thought about it. Jagged Barbs is much better at applying direct damage. One of Zagara's
Yes,
weaknesses is she struggles a lot if she wants to bring down the hammer on a specific target. Like, her summons will do what they want to do, and sometimes they're going to be hitting something useless. when
yes,
when you need to kill something as quickly as possible, Jagged Barbs gives you more control on the hero itself.
exactly.
Mm-hmm.
But Mutalisk also does the same too. So it's
True.
like if you to have more healing sustain, then grab Mutalisk with the heals from the Mutalisk. But if you just want outright damage and you already have like someone that's going to be taking care of your healing problems for you, and you're just like in it to just like throw all your stuff,
Mm-hmm. Just throw
then
down.
Jagged is, yeah. If you just want to brawl, like Jagged Barbs is also pretty good.
I see. I
But
like it.
situational because you have to have a team that would be able to take care of you
Really
to be able
good.
to grab them.
I like it. Makes a lot of sense to
Yeah.
me. I think you explained it really well on which scenarios you want to pick each talent on.
Yes.
Very good. Alrighty. 16 was a very important tier for Zagara. It's probably what you've been edging for the whole game long before you actually become a real hero. And now it's time for level 20, which is another very interesting scenario for Zagara to take advantage of. Starting off with the heroic upgrades, we have Tyrant Maw. Devouring Maw deals 50% more damage, and takedowns as a whole, it doesn't have to be with the Maw, it could be at any point in the game, will reduce the cooldown of it by 25 seconds. I will say, Maw does actually a good chunk of damage, and sometimes it just kills people on the inside. Tyrant Maw jumps your AoE damage from 400 to 600, and this is level 1, by the way. At level 20, this thing's dealing like, I don't know, 1,000 damage, which is very, very impressive. It's not shabby at all. And the cooldown reduction on it, if you successfully kill 3 heroes with it, you effectively reset its cooldown. And it doesn't
Yes.
even have to be from it. You could occur from any source, and then you can use the last maw to execute a straggler.
Yeah, I don't really
Thoughts?
grab it though.
Yeah, that's kind of
um,
true. It's
yeah.
a big go big or go home kind of talent. Devouring Maul as a whole is kind of what that is, but Tyrant Maul really puts the emphasis on you landing a huge maul, and then you're somehow able to take advantage of a second one afterwards.
Yeah. The thing is that usually if I were to grab Maw and we're doing really good, we only really needed one Maw and then the game's over by level 20.
Exactly. Mm,
Because by level 20, we're at their core. I land one Maw, we kill 3 people, it's over.
yep.
I don't really need to grab the level 20 time Maw
Exactly.
because there's nothing left to grab.
Hmm.
Ghosts, maybe? But
A little bit of that ground over there. You know, the grass was looking to you wrong.
like, I don't know, nothing else left. But like
Uh,
if you're against like a whole group that like for some reason you can only get one person at a time and you can't get a group of people,
hmm.
then yeah, Tyrant Maw is definitely very, very helpful
Yeah.
because then you can slowly kill them one at a
Hmm.
time. But usually, the way that I use Maw, I use it to block off exits or entrances,
Hmm.
or I use it to grab like a group full of people, or we're just taking away like someone that's pivotal in their team fight, like their
Yeah.
healer or
Hmm.
main damage dealer or their main CC,
Hmm.
like a Gul'dan or something. You know, like Usually one maw is still enough
Hmm.
because if I got rid of their golden, they don't have the CC to initiate, we kill them all. If
Absolutely.
I grab the maw and I grab three people, they're done. It's over. If
Hmm.
I take away their healer, they don't have any sustain, they all die.
Hmm.
So I never really found a situation where it was pivotal for me to grab Tyrant Maw.
Hmm. I feel much the same way with Jaina's Cold Snap upgrade at level 20. Yeah, you reduce the cooldown of the Ring of Frost, but at that point, if you successfully land a big ult, the game's over. You won it. Well done.
Yeah, overkill for nothing. So you're wasting a level 20 talent to overkill on
Hmm.
nothing.
Yep.
Um,
And if
so
you fail, it does nothing. So, yeah.
yeah. So like
Uh,
it like you put all your eggs in a basket and you either have all of them hatched or nothing hatched.
yeah. I
Yeah,
had an idea because I don't really like how it works. I had an idea for a slight rework is that you could use Tyrant Maw globally, but it has to target either in range of you or on creep. So if you're like knee deep within your territory and you spot any opportunity, the Maw can always come down. And I think a surprise Maw, even when you're on the other side of the map, could be like really spooky. And I think that's flavorful.
yes. That is definitely flavorful. I would definitely grab Tyrant Maw if that was what the deal was.
Yeah. Extra range, extra application, extra radius. Something that makes Maw better than to just bump its numbers. Like, you need to think of your ultimates as tools. And having a wider or a brand new effect to the tool gives it much more usage than usually upgrading its numbers. There are very few circumstances where upgrading the numbers really is, key to making it so much better. For example, Tyrael's Judgment, giving it extra range and cooldown reduction actually is super strong on the ability. You don't really need anything else, but something like Ma, I think it could use something like that to make its upgrade more worthwhile.
I think like the way that it is right now, the only way for it to make sense for me to grab is if I'm playing with a bunch of randoms and I'm literally carrying the game. Like say
Hmm.
that I'm the only one that's capable of killing the enemy team, then Tyrant Maw would be the way to go because
Hmm.
that way I can just take my time and kill everyone one by one
Hmm.
because my team is stupid. But I usually don't play with randoms, so it's technically your fault that I don't get this
True.
talent.
That's
Yeah.
absolutely true. I'm magnetically attached to Zelaya here, and so is her husband. And this is the way it has to be. Uh, that's fun.
I don't have reason to grab it.
This is great. Maybe I need to force you to pick some Maw games, and then we can make that work somehow.
No, right? Force me to have a
uh,
reason to use.
yep. But hey, interesting talent. But I guess maybe against Lost Vikings because each Viking counts, and then sometimes they respawn too, so that's extra value. But oh man, that's stretching it, stretching it.
Yeah, that's true. Because like it's kind of tricky to try to land a maw on Vikings because they can fly out of it.
Yeah, it's more so you can use your Maw freely. The one good part about Tyrant Maw is that the takedown part is irrelevant of the Maw landing on them, which is a really big boon. If it required hitting, I think it'd be a trash talent.
Uh, uh,
Yeah,
I don't know.
yeah, food for the thought. But yeah, that is it's still super sus if you're picking Maw into Vikings. I think you've already lost the game on the spot. You need Nidus to counter
Uh,
that.
I don't know. Like I feel like for maw, like you have to be really good at landing them, but if you're not, then it's kind of pointless. It does nothing for
Yep.
you, and then you're useless
Yeah.
altogether.
It does nothing when you miss, does nothing when you win. Shame.
Yeah, yeah.
Let's talk about something much
It's
more
very
interesting, though. I know you've been excited about this the whole time, and I know you've got some things to tell me, but I'm not a believer, so I want you to convert me. Endless Creep. The upgrade tonight is network. Increase Creep Tumor's cast range from 2.5 to 50. Creep Tumors now last 10 minutes. While on Creep, Zagara gains an additional 10% movement speed. Convince me.
Yes,
Sell me.
yes, this is my favorite.
Oh
Oh
man.
gosh, I really, 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 really love this talent a lot.
Mm-hmm.
I know many people don't use it, and it I'm just like, why not? It's so
Mm-hmm.
good.
Yeah.
So like I love using it to just give like so much vision.
Mm-hmm.
Like in the middle of team fighting, like by level 20, we're either in their core or they're in our core, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, if they are in our core, bursting down our doors, I would either have to use this endless creep to try to backdoor,
Mm-hmm.
or they're in their side, if we're at their doors, it's really, really good to get a good vision of their entire base. So, like, it helps out players like Genji
Mm-hmm.
or KT or KTZ, like when they're trying to retreat because we still have vision of them.
Big time.
Like, you can still ult them because you have vision of them,
Yeah.
and I love using it for getting vision to be in their core, so we can still get them while they're trying to get away, or we get a heads up like who's coming out of base and which direction they're going.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I love using it for when I'm backdooring,
Mm-hmm.
and being able to know like, oh, people started coming back, so I better bounce.
Mm-hmm.
But I also love using it just in their forest. Like, say that we're not in each other's faces at their
Mm-hmm.
core or our core, and we're just getting ready for objective. It's
Yeah.
so
The
nice
the
to,
setup
like,
is so brutal.
yes, because there's no way that they're going to come in and we don't know where they're coming from,
Mm-hmm.
because we already know everything. We get to be God, we see everything.
Yes. Map hacks are very OP on here. Heroes of the Storm. I have to say, as I've gotten better as a player, I've started valuing vision, rotations, um, how should I say this? Formation order, like which heroes are at what portion, and then timing attacks to be much more important. And another last thing is objective setup and control.
Yes.
And I guess map control as well, but it's more so just pushing up your opinions. But anyways, all of that is something Endless Creep can do better of. When you know exactly where the enemy team is, and what direction they're heading from, in what order, which heroes are there, and which hero is straggling a little bit too far behind from the rest of the team, you can force very advantageous fights because you have that knowledge advantage where the enemy team does not know where you are. And you can pull off some very strong ambushes. And usually, catching somebody in a rotation is one of the key ways of winning the game. Even if you're
Yes.
very far behind, this allows you to find a pick, and then it snowballs into something else. Boss, objective, a keep, maybe you push for core. Yeah. And let's
And like
keep.
place
Oop.
important on your creep tumors. Like, say that um you want to know like what their rotations are like, you definitely want to put it through the bushes in the high traffic zones. Or you want to know if they're doing boss, you can drop it around boss or around their camps to see if like they're splitting apart and
Mm-hmm.
someone's doing camp while they're trying to do
Yeah, very
some,
important.
like, that's really cool. Like a side tip, I would say, like, say that you're setting up for objective, um, and you want to just get vision. Like, a good way to expand like your vision as well is to kind of use the gates of the enemies, like put creep down by the gate of the
Hmm.
enemy and basic attack that gate to get your cooldown reduction, so you can just keep planting
I
um
see.
your creep tumor around the
Hmm.
area
I like it. That's a good tip. I guess
if you don't have many.
now that I think about it, you can use this to leapfrog across the map. Actually, Obviously, you can the huge range advantage lets you plop it into the enemy base, but if you literally have no access into the back base, you can just deploy a Nidus in the middle of the map, or if you already have one, and then you pop out of that one, and then you drop the long range creep tumor, and then you can deploy a new Nidus network in the enemy base, and then you start the backdoor process.
Exactly.
I see. I had not thought of it that way. I like it.
Yeah.
Do you value the 10% movement speed from this talent?
Yes. It's so good. When you use it with the slow banes, yes.
Oh yeah,
You can feel the difference.
I feel it.
Yes. So good at chasing. I love it.
I like it. I think 20% speed to 30% speed is a very big boost. There's a lot of effects in the game that give you 20%, but 30% is kind of rare. And 30% is mount speed, and you get that while you're doing actions, which is very, very advantageous.
Yeah, and then plus because your creep tumors are also like they're just like everywhere and they get so big like
Mm-hmm.
when you put them together like you can cover like a huge amount of ground. So it's like you don't even really need to mount anymore at a certain
Yeah.
point.
Oh no. And once it's once you're moving at 30% speed, you literally are at mount speed.
Yeah.
For the creep tumors lasting 10 minutes, do you do obviously you like putting down envision of important rotation points like say corridors or junction points where you enter the jungle or bushes and stuff like that. Obviously those take priority. Do you put any emphasis on developing a large field of creep on a section of the map?
No, I
Mm-hmm.
don't. Not unless I'm just in my lane. Um like solo lane is when I start clumping things, but usually after that, I just scatter it everywhere because I just want it for vision purposes, not for
Gotcha.
actually using it. Like I only start putting it in a crowd, I guess, when we're like just in their base
Mm-hmm.
and we're just staying there for a
Of
long
course.
time. I naturally just build it out because, again, like I said, I always have that on cooldown. So I'm always putting down creep. Whenever that thing pops up, I'm using it. So it
Mm-hmm.
naturally just spreads on its own. Um,
Must be tiresome
so
work.
if I once for too long, then yeah, it will spread.
Mm-hmm. Very good. How about say you're playing on a map and you see a indicator of where the upcoming objective is, say Sky Temple, say Cursed Hall, all that jazz. Do you take advantage of the bonus duration to set up there?
Um, it depends. If I'm gonna be part of the team fight, then yes, I will start setting up like tremendously. But if I'm not, and I'm gonna use the objective as an opportunity to backdoor, then I'm going to be taking this chance to focus on backdooring.
Mm-hmm. I see. And
Yeah.
then I guess last thing to note, 2.5 to 50 range is obviously a big deal, but to put that in perspective, that is half a Morales medevac range because medevac is exactly 100 range. You can literally use this to sandworm your way into a team fight if you want to, because there's no creep, no problem. Get in, just drop the creep tumor and then drop the knives network, and you can get in, which is also really cool.
Yep, that's true. Yep.
Half a
Like yeah, no,
that's
seriously. Like, sometimes because like the entrances from the core are so close to each other. Like
hmm
if I'm bottom lane and I don't have any creep in the top lane and you guys are all over there, I
uh-huh.
can just creep down over that side and I just, Nida swarm over.
I love it. I love seeing it
Yeah.
in action.
Mm-hmm.
I fought a I don't remember the name, but it was another Zagara player that had like another 6,500 games. So very similar to you. Less experience, I think. I was not intimidated by her like I am with you. She picked up endless creep, and man, oh man, we didn't have any mercenaries that game. Like she always took them, like in the most audacious way. Somehow deep in our territory, she somehow gets it and gets away, and I'm like, damn. And then we still lost the game.
Yes.
So there's something to it. There's something to it.
Yes. Yes, it is. That's what I love to do when I
Yeah.
get endless. If you don't take your camps on time, baby, I will.
No. Grim Reaper of those siege giants you got back there.
Mm-hmm.
I
Mm-hmm.
love it. Also, one thing to keep in mind, it's always a balancing act because at level 20, generally speaking, all heroes get access to these really strong team fight oriented like power boosts. Zagaras are kind of wish-washy. Endless Creep is definitely a very supportive oriented kind of talent. You pick this, you're sacrificing damage, and you need to really think whether or not you have the desire to take advantage of the properties from the talent. If you're not making full advantage of taking full advantage of Endless Creep, I feel like it's really wasted potential because it suddenly
Yes.
it transforms Zagara a little bit, and you need to be ready for that transformation.
Yes.
I like it. Okay, I'm more convinced. I like Endless Creep more now. Now, I
Yeah.
guess unless you have any
Gotta know
final
how to.
thoughts. Sorry, I didn't hear you.
You got. You got to know how to work it, because if you grab endless that
uh,
uses, then you're getting a talent that doesn't serve you. So I think with the way that I play based off of how I play.
mm-hmm.
I don't grab things because of what people say is the best things to grab, because
Absolutely.
like the Roman pod quest, I'm not good at landing those pods.
Mm-hmm.
Not unless I'm in a group fight and, like there's a bunch of bodies to just like drop it on. But if not, like I could grab it. It's the best talent to get at level 7 apparently, but
Mm-hmm.
I don't use it the way that it's supposed to be used, so it doesn't serve me. So it would be a
Mm-hmm.
waste for me to grab this level 7 talent that I don't utilize it the way that other people would utilize it. Whereas I would rather use slow baits because I know how to use those
Mm-hmm.
really well, because I'm more strategic in how I play. I don't have like all this accuracy that everyone else has. So I work around what my
Mm-hmm.
flaws are. So since I'm not really good at, like focusing on one person and being able to accurately take them out, like I focus on, okay, if we're in the middle of a team fight and some people are going to start backing away, I start blocking off their exits,
Mm-hmm.
because that's what I
I
can help.
I really agree with this whole spiel here. Even if, like, say you, the viewer, you're seeing this video, if you don't take away anything from Zagara somehow, I think this whole line of thought is super important to apply to your gameplay. Find a rhythm that works for you and then see how it works, because there are limitations to your abilities and some things a player is more comfortable doing and a player is less comfortable doing. And because of that, we have uh, people who played the same hero, but they play differently. Different playstyles that serve different functions, and they really rise to the elements when they are in, say, their best environments. Say, I'm a Sharkfur taught me something about Jaina, even though I'm a Jaina master. I'm more of a generalist, Jaina. I work to fulfill my duty on the team and complement it to the best of my ability, on top of being a mainline damage dealer. But Sharkfur plays Jaina more like an assassin, and he optimizes all of his talents towards that kind of playstyle. He doesn't take mana talents because he has no interest in being a sustain oriented hero. He is going in, he's taking somebody down with him, and he's going to worry about the mana pool for his next life because he responds with full, you know? So it kind of broadened my worldview of cranking the talents and optimizing them in a way that works for you as a player, as well as the situation at hand. Everybody has something to teach somebody else. And this is so true from Zelaya here. That's work with your limitations and strike your own path, really.
And like you were mentioning how some people, like when they're offlaners, like that's boring stuff for them. Like they want to
Mm-hmm.
be part of the team fights. They want to be part of killing people and
Yeah.
stuff like that. Personally, for me, I love PvE.
Mm-hmm.
I get a huge satisfaction out of turning the whole map blue.
Yes.
Like I love doing that stuff.
Yes.
So
And
when people
you're.
are like,
Ooh, sorry. Do continue.
like the other day, my husband was like, people are like telling him that, oh, we win games because we are so hard on our macro and stuff like that. And he's like, macro? And it's like, we don't focus on macro. And I'm like, yeah, I'm the
You
only
focus on
one
macro.
but the thing is that I don't play with my mind going, oh, I need to focus on macro. I need to focus on controlling the map. I just do whatever I feel like it. And
Mm.
literally, I am just a little girl in a candy shop and I'm just like, ooh, piece of candy. Like, that's all I do. I follow, like, the game starts, I go to my lane. My brain is, I want to take out that tower because I don't like
Mhm.
it. So I clear out the because I
uh,
care about minion wave. I just soak experience because it's in my way. I
mhm.
don't do it on purpose where I'm like, oh, let me get this wave. No, I'm just like, you need to move out of my way so I can get to my target. My target is that fort.
Mhm. This is the mindset of the number one Zagara, by the way.
Yeah. So like after I take out a tower, I'm
Uh,
like, ooh, this looks yummy. I
mhm.
feel like taking a camp. Let me go take a camp.
I think it works out for you better than it should because the audacity of it actually throws a lot of people off. And in high level play, there's kind of like a gentleman's agreement that if you get an advantage some way, that you permit the enemy team to just roll over you and hey, they could take what they want and then you're left with the scraps. You don't abide by those rules. You take camps when you want to and you split push when you want to, more than what other people are accustomed to, and because of that, they think you'll give in sooner than thought, but no, you don't. And their disrespect towards that, to your disrespect, makes you come out ahead, which is why it works against higher level players than I expected. It just happens more than I think.
Yeah, I don't play like normal people do because I know that there are rules to the rotations. There
Mm-hmm.
are timers for when you're supposed to get something. And I feel like if I follow those rules, I become too predictable.
Uh-huh.
And I think giving your enemy a good sight of predictability on what you're doing is how you lose a game.
Absolutely.
So I just do things randomly. Um, and like whenever I feel like getting a camp, I'm like, okay, I'll get this camp because
Mm-hmm.
I have the mana for it. I'm close enough to it. Let me just grab this.
Yep.
Um, then after I grab it, I look at the map and I'm just like, okay, so I can either push with this or I'm just going to use it as distraction. Or sometimes I get camps to help you guys actually.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then I go do other stuff instead. But a lot of the times when I'm PvEing, I'm just like, ooh, piece of candy. That's all I think about. I'm just like, what looks delicious? Nom 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 nom.
Mm-hmm. This, I think, what really helps you is that Zagara can bend the rules of the game, and this is one of the strong suits about HotS. Is heroes have abilities that are not like League of Legends, where hey, you just do something. In this game, you have game-breaking ultimates, game-breaking rules and mechanics. For you, Nidus Network lets you literally control the whole map, and you can just dictate where it goes. So you can get away with
Yes,
doing exactly what you want to do. If I did that as Jaina, like I die to the first gank that comes my way.
yes. And
Mm-hmm.
I am a thief at heart. So like my thing is naturally because most of the time I'm just trolly. Like 92% of the time, I just want to F around and find out how much I can get away with.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of my build is literally geared towards that, where I'm like, oh, I feel cheeky and I want to steal enemy camps. Like, I'm gonna build towards that. I'm gonna grab Corpse Feeder, Medusa Blades. I'm gonna get Balin Massacre. I'm just gonna be cheeky all day. But if I know that the enemy is always getting their camps on time and all that stuff, and I have zero chances of stealing their stuff, then I will probably go infest and I will still get Medusa Blades. I might get Slow Banes because now I'm just making sure that just in case if they're focusing on me, I have a slight chance of getting away, or I don't have time to really macro and I need to focus more on team fighting with you guys and helping you guys win team fights so then I can go and do
Hmm.
Zagara things. Then yeah, the slow beans help me out in those aspects. So
Big
that's
time.
what I focus on when I'm building. It's just like, what play style do I feel like doing today? Like, do I want
Hmm.
to just be dancing around in their jungle, or do I want to be dancing around in lanes, or like, do I want to just spit on some people?
Oh yeah. I have to say, like
Yep.
the free loving, frolicking kind of attitude, the whimsical like nature to the spontaneity of the fact that you like to do what you want to do. It's very important for the learning process. Say you want to get better at something, you gotta relax a bit. You gotta do stupid shit. You gotta do stuff you wouldn't normally do. And this really broadens what you do. And what ends up happening is I played Ragnaros and I got comfortable with all of his talents. And now I can pick him into any composition and I will perform optimally because I have the right build for every circumstance. Whether it's frontlining or doing a better job at being a backline mage for a melee bruiser than a Chromie. Yeah, this is
Hmm.
the power of Ragnaros. And yeah, it's totally true. What do you say is totally true? Okay, I might have to put a stop on this charade here. We have to go to the next talent, Broodmother.
Yes.
Alrighty. Every third basic attack also launches a Baneling towards the target. I think the Baneling benefits from slow Banes and the other talents that affect it. And then passively, you also gain 20% bonus attack speed, which makes this talent better and gives you more attacks for more damage and gives you more cooldown reduction from Nice Network. I've got no real opinion on it because I don't really ever see it. What do you think of it?
I do grab it every once in a while.
Hmm.
It's really fun. I usually grab it in matches when we're already like about to win right now,
Oh yeah.
just for the um. But I also do like grabbing it for like um just having that extra bonus attack speed.
Yeah.
Like say if you grabbed the jagged barbs at level
Hmm.
16 where you have increased damage, and then you also got at level 4 you got your Medusa blades or serrated spines. Like
Hmm.
you're able to still dish out like a good amount of damage with just your basic attacks, and having like the extra banelins at the same
Hmm.
time is like really nice. It's a nice perk.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Is it better than all the other options? No, absolutely not. But could it be viable? Yes, absolutely.
Hmm. A good thing to keep in mind is, unlike the other talents, Broodmother works on everything in the game. It's kind of like protective coating in that it just improves your overall output, whether it's towards
Yes.
bosses, or the objective, or mercenaries, or the heroes, or the core. This all works towards your advantage,
Yeah.
whereas the other talents are strictly more hero focused and oriented, which granted is important in level 20. Like, it's the most important thing at level 20, but that's one factor to keep in mind.
Yeah,
I
I
got.
do love that. It's like a broad general kind of thing where it just
Mhm.
gives damage. That's all it does.
Yep,
It just gives more damage.
perfectly fine.
Um,
Yep.
yeah, it's really nice.
For that one
But
rare game, or if you're right clicking,
yeah,
if you're right clicking, it's definitely a good talent.
yes, yes, it is a right click game. But I definitely like Pack Instinct. Uh, really, really like
Hmm.
it's very good. Pack Instinct, I think, is like my second favorite behind Endless Creep,
Hmm.
even though I use Pack Instinct way more often than Endless Creep.
Absolutely. Simple 20% damage boost to everything you do. That's 5 levels worth of damage at level 20, and it multiplies with itself because all of your
Yep.
abilities are scaled up 80% at level 20. Just multiplying that by 20% is very, very strong. And it goes without saying that this is one of Zagara's few talents that give a crucial damage output in those late game team fights.
Yep.
Simple stat booster, can't go wrong with it. Now,
Yeah,
let's
you were.
talk about, unless you got something more to say about Pack Instinct, I think it's pretty straightforward.
Yeah, it's straightforward.
Yeah. When would you pick each talent here on level 20?
Um. Okay, so I obviously don't grab Tyrant Maw.
Mm-hmm.
Endless Creep would be if if we already have so much damage on our team, we don't need more damage.
Mm-hmm.
We just need vision.
Mm-hmm.
That's where I would grab Endless Creep. Um, Brood Mother again is like such a trolley pick. I grab it when I'm just playing around. And
Mm-hmm.
Pack Instinct is what I usually grab whenever I feel like we just missed a little bit of damage
Mm-hmm.
that I'm just like, I could make up that difference that we're
Yep.
missing.
Big time. And it also is pretty important to identify which of these components are the most important for increasing your success, right? Sometimes you do need to identify you need to deal the damage, or sometimes you need to identify that the vision and map control of Endless Creep is going to be what wins you the
Yeah.
game.
Yes. And sometimes I notice that in games where, like, against people that, like, crap, I can't remember who, but there are some groups that I notice that when I grab the pack instinct
Mm-hmm.
to try to, like make up for that damage difference, like it doesn't actually help us because the enemy just has so much CC and so much engage that
Mm-hmm.
like it doesn't matter
Yeah.
if I have that extra damage or not. Like we're still screwed anyways.
Mm-hmm.
So like in those matches, I end up finding out that like when we play against them in the future, I would grab Endless Creep instead,
Mm-hmm.
and that seems to be the key. Where it's
Really
like,
smart.
no, now we know what their rotations are like. We know when to engage on them when they're separated just a little
Mm-hmm.
bit. Like just that little opportunity changes the tides.
Big time.
And
That's a really clever analysis there. Most like super heavy initiation comps, usually they got very good counter engages as well, but another really important fact is you need to see where the strike is coming from and at what point it's coming. And the vision you get from it will tell you when. And yeah, like you can sometimes the initiation team is really weak to getting dove upon. Diablo is a frequent example of this. There is no tank better at starting a fight out of thin air than Diablo, but he's also a big bully in that he's kind of weak when he gets engaged upon because he has no backpedaling abilities. He just kind of falls over if he does suffer immense amounts of focus damage. And sometimes, like if you knock him out fast, you can kind of mobilize and quickly deal with the rest of the enemy team, and that usually puts a stop to their plans. So yeah,
yeah,
vision is once again a crucial element at countering these unorthodox or very complex problems. Strong
yeah,
initiation, AoE, CC, fast engages, being picked off one by one. This is stuff you can't fix with numbers.
exactly. And you got to work with your team to see like um what everyone else thinks that we're missing,
Mm-hmm.
because sometimes I could be thinking, okay, maybe we're missing damage, but really what we're missing is like the visualization of seeing what their attacks are going to
Yeah.
be. Like if we see that they're all grouping together in one area, we know that they're definitely going to be trying to do a wombo combo. But if they're splitting up, like three and two, then at least we could be like, okay, let's take out the two first. Or if it's the three that has like two tanks and a healer, we're like, let's just
Mm-hmm.
take those out first.
Yeah.
You know. So it's like you get to plan better with endless creep. So
Mm-hmm.
like you can strategize more versus pack instinct is just pure just like damage, just like output.
Absolutely. Totally
There's
agree.
no strategy. It's just
Mm-hmm.
going in.
Yep. Alrighty, I think that concludes our town overexplanation. Now, Let's quickly talk about, I say, a talent build. You know, say you're an aspiring Zagara, you want to do something. I think we got a few options you could try. So let's go over to Zagara. Give me a build you like to do.
I think a a good standard build would be grabbing corpse feeders at level 1, grabbing Medusa blades at level 4,
Mm-hmm.
grabbing bile drop at level 7 if you are good at using that, and if you really do want to grab those that extra roachlings and that
Mm-hmm.
increased radius of the infest drop. But I think Baneland Massacre is probably going to be a really, really good start. Um, Level 10, it depends on your playstyle. Like, do you want to be in the team or not? But
Mm-hmm.
Nidus Network is like very flexible. So I think Nidus Network definitely
Mm-hmm.
is like, that's my bread and butter.
Ooh, I got one more
Um,
idea. I completely forgot. I glossed over it. Devouring Maw is a way to set up your own bile drop. So if you so happen to catch a hero, you can always drop the pod at the tail end of it. You set yourself up. It's a free stack. So if you succeed at
that is,
catching a hero, you get a few stacks.
yes, that is very true. But you only get one every 80 seconds. And if you miss it,
Mm-hmm.
you're still screwed.
Yep. Still left with no level 10 and no level 7. How's that? uh, Catching strays in this day and age.
For level 13, Hydralisk Transfusion is really nice because you can't not like heals.
Yep.
Um
It's 60% is a big
Corrosive
deal.
really good. Mutalisk is also really good. So again, this depends on whether or not you're going against Beefy or not. Level 20, I think Pack Instincts is definitely gonna be like a really good
Hmm.
bread and butter as well.
Yeah, I like it a lot. This, I think, will serve very sufficiently as a trainer's first wheels at Zagara. Good overall output. It's not super heavy on macro, and it's not super heavy on team fighting. So you have a little bit of a good mixture of both. But it does give you very good numbers, which makes you feel very good about the Zagara gameplay. You don't feel like you're lacking per se.
Yeah.
What
Oh
will
yeah,
be
if
oh,
macro as much as I do usually,
mm-hmm.
I would probably have top damage if I did that build.
Uh-huh. Yes. How about a secondary build for Zagar? Is there one you'd give if you had to put all the stops to macroing and you do team fighting, or
Okay,
vice versa?
for that first build, so the first build would be just like your general kind of like, I'm just gonna put something together. If you have a build versus a tank, like a
Mm-hmm.
really beefy tank build, then corpse feeders, level 1,
Mm-hmm.
level 4, if you can manage getting those serrated spines, grab it.
Mm-hmm.
Like you're playing against someone like Artanis, um, Blaze, Mirrodin,
Mm-hmm.
even Chen, because Chen, he's just going to be tugging. So he's
Oh
going to
yeah.
take all those shots free anyways. You're just not going to use this to really kill him. You're going to use this to kill the other people.
Yeah.
Um,
Prime
so,
prime them up.
serrated- yeah, grab serrated spines. You can grab the bile drop because this doesn't matter at this point because
Mm-hmm.
you're going to be in the team fights taking out the tanks. So you eventually will finish this quest. So get the bile drop.
Mm-hmm.
Level 10, you can get the Nidus Network still, or you can get the Maw. This one is totally up to you. This works either way. Um, in this one, you're going to get the Hydrolus Transfusion guaranteed.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to get the Corrosive Saliva 16. And level 20, you're going to go Packed Instinct. And
Mm-hmm.
this is going to give you all the damage that you need for those frontliners.
Love it.
A build against like actually a build against squishy people would be getting your You could still get the corpse beaters. That doesn't really matter. Level 4, this is where you could be tempted in getting the envenom spines, but fight the urge and get the Medusa blades.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to get the Baneland Massacre. You're going to get Maw. You're going to get your this one you could totally get armor on creep. I would get armor on creep. You
Mm-hmm.
get your Mutalisk, and you're gonna get Pact Instinct,
Mm-hmm.
and that's gonna be your damage that you need to obliterate like any kind of squish.
I like it. Mm-mm.
And this build is my favorite build because it's PvE, and I just get to follow the candy trail. So I get Infest at level 1, Medusa Blades level 4, I get Baneland Massacre level 7,
Mm-hmm.
Nidus Network. I get either one of the Hydralisk Transfusion. That one really doesn't matter.
Mm-hmm.
I get the Mutalisk. And I would either get Broodmother if I'm feeling trolly, or I get the Pact Instinct.
Mm-hmm.
And that's
Got
my
you.
build that I usually use for just like my regular PvE. Or
Excellent.